But I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0 1 1 0 1 1 6 3 2 9 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, and Twitch. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, that is KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Tonight we're taking your calls as we try the stutter step we blew from last Thursday. We're talking about the pyramids, right? We're talking about the pyramid code and just this weird coincidence. But, well, of course, when you get more time to think about these ideas tend to bloat a little bit. And so we're going to bloat this idea just a little bit, which is good because when I tried Thursday night, it wasn't the best. So I think, is there something to it, I guess? Go back to Thursday night for just a moment. And many of you were here. And considering that maybe something is real about this, synchronicities and maybe cosmic codes and things like this. But I was having a very hard time getting an idea, as you know. And the idea itself came very late, even just about showtime. I was not sure if I was going to cancel. And then, it's the tea leaves kind of telling me, hey, Mike, this isn't the night. This isn't going to be the night for you. Just let it go. Cancel this, come back another, punch another night. And so, well, here we are. But the weird part is that we started it. It was horrific on my part, but then we got people calling, which were going to be fire as always, because we always have amazing people that call into the show. And the madness was that everything broke. So talk about reading the tea leaves in that sense of madness and breaking, and I think I don't know, some things aren't meant to be. But I do wonder if you believe in those sorts of things, that maybe it was meant to be for us to flesh this out and talk about it in a different context tonight, which I was able to think about it quite a bit more, and we have a bunch more to tack onto it. So that's what we're going to do tonight. As you know, these ideas, of course, are just ideas. There is no truth to be found here. All the disclaimers apply. So if you're here for truth, you're in the wrong place. Go find some political channel. They've got plenty of truth to tell you. And I promise you that they are endless truth tellers. I promise you. They'll tell you who to vote for. They'll tell you why. They'll tell you all about their lived experience and put it all on your head and say that, yeah, this is why you should do this because I think you should. Yeah, congratulations. You just got a dose of somebody else's truth. In any case, so this is where we begin. We started here last Thursday night before everything, all the wheels came off. By the way, everything is working tonight, so we're taking calls on Discord, on the phone line, everything else. Special thanks to James, of course, James Salcido, for popping in and helping me test everything as a quick double check before we started tonight. And so everything seems to be working just fine. Everything seems to be working just fine. So one final thing is the phone line, but we'll test that in a moment here if anybody wants to call. But okay, so we started here with IFL Science, which is, of course, I freaking love science, which is a fantastic website. And it starts with this. This is where we began on Thursday night. So the Great Pyramid's latitude is coincidentally the same as the speed of light. Okay. And it says coincidence. Yes. Yeah. All right, cool. That's fine, right? So read a little bit from the article. So spend long enough on the internet and you will likely be met with a post informing you that the speed of light is 299,792 and 458 meters per second. And the latitude of the Great Pyramid of Giza is 29.979, 2458 degrees north. The latitude, etc., right? So the exact latitude. And it says, before inviting you to assess whether this is a coincidence or not. And there is one tweet in the world of engineering said it, and this is not where I found it, but apparently it's gone around the interweb several times. And if this is an old one, then I'm new to it because, I'd seen it maybe out of the corner of my eye and never really thought twice about it until Thursday night, and it was late, and I was like, this seems peculiar. In any case, right? So here's straight from the article. But is it true? And if so, is it a coincidence? The answer to the first question is yes, it is true. From iflscience.com, light travels at exactly 299,792,458 meters per second in a vacuum, the absolute speed limit of the universe, which seems, relevant to a larger conversation, right? Relevant to, if you're going to pick one ridiculous number to synchronistically match through temporal anchors or waypoints or whatever, then it may as well be the speed of light and the greatest wonder of the ancient world, right? I mean, why not? But the latitude of the Great Pyramid of Giza is indeed, all the numbers match, but so are a whole bunch of places of the same latitude. Because, of course, in the, the globe, and again, I'm not a flat earther, just so you guys know, but in the globe aspect in measuring latitudes and longitudes, there are going to be several, things in that same latitude. That's going to be the case, except, not all of them have the Great Pyramid of Giza on it. Okay. You get it? Meaning in this particular place, it kind of makes you raise an eyebrow. And so when I was doing this on Thursday night, I kind of punched in super late the mathematical aspect of this and what would be the rate of a coincidence, okay? And so the coincidence rate, according to, of course, ChatGPT 4.0, is this. So the Earth's latitude ranges from negative 90 degrees to positive 90 degrees, plus and minus, giving a total range of 180 degrees. The precise match in this case is up to 4 decimal places, meaning the latitude needs to be accurate within 0.001 degrees, all right? So the precision level with 4 decimal places, the latitude's precision is 0.0001 degrees. To find the total number possible, blah, 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 it goes through the whole thing. And so the probability is this. The calculation shows that the odds of this alignment happening by chance are extremely low, approximately 1 in 1.8 million, which means, what does it mean? And that becomes the question, right? And these conversations usually go back to one particular idea, and it is signs. You guys ever seen M. Night Shyamalan? Signs? Yeah. What kind of person are you? Do you believe everything happens for a reason, or do you think that we're just random baubles bouncing off of each other like a bad car wreck? That type of stuff. And that becomes really the larger question here as part of this. And so we're going to get weird. We're going to get wild because it is what we do on this show. And that's where we start. So is this, the first question is, have you heard about this weird coincidence, as they're calling it, this cosmic coincidence, which is 1 in 1.8 million, as I said on Thursday night. I live in Vegas. I'm not really a betting man, but I do understand the 1 in 1.8 million. You should never, ever take that bet. Yeah, right, exactly. Sounds like Vegas odds, exactly. Definitely not. So anyway, so, here's the weird part, okay? And this is what got my mind really flowing on this when we were doing this on Thursday and everything broke. So straight from the article, again, all these links are going to be in the description down below, so I encourage you to read these in full because this is, part of the important context. I can't get to every single thing, but there's a lot of stuff here, okay? But check it out. So here's why they say it's a coincidence. For a start, the ancient Egyptians even if they had figured out the speed of light centuries ahead of its measurement by Danish astronomer Ole Romer in 1676 CE, and for some reason chose to keep quiet about it. It did not work in meters, primarily because meters were not defined until 1791 CE. All right, perfect. That's fine. It seems like a coincidence because cubits are not meters, right? So as Snopes points out, ancient Egyptians used cubits, with the speed of light being around 571,033,253 cubits per second. Okay, right, that's fine. This is fine. Because, of course, you know, once you have a temporal Taco Tuesday, then none of this matters, does it? Because maybe this was a setup. Maybe this was a cosmic setup. In any case, well, I'll get to that in a moment. So had they had memes, maybe theirs would be talking about some random object in Western Russia at 57.1033253 latitude under the caption coincidence. And this is all the way back to, of course, the ancient Egyptian times of the Great Pyramid. Yeah, maybe. But maybe this is something else. Maybe back to the whole idea again, way out there tonight. So everybody relax, take a deep breath, recognize it's just an idea. But is it possible then that instead we're dealing with something a little more cosmic, meaning that sort of that cosmic code aspect of things, and that this was intentionally set, whether the ancients knew about it or not, and we weren't supposed to discover sort of this secret cosmic code until, well, what was the date? It would be, sorry about that, it would be 1791 when they started working in meters, okay? So I do wonder, look, I'm not a numerologist, I'm not an astronomer, I'm not a scientist, I'm not anything, I'm just me, okay? I'm just me. And so, you know, you got to squint with some of these ideas, and when I'm squinting, looking at this idea in my mind, of course, my mind's eye, I do wonder if there's something special about the year 1791 of the Common Era. I didn't really dig into that and try and find some of the weird stuff with that because, like I said, you get caught in these weird numerological circles, and you know, like I said, you end up that like Always Sunny, pointing at things and making maybe connections that aren't there. But in any case, as we talk about this tonight, the bizarre part is specifically that the speed of light and the actual latitude of the Great Pyramid at Giza are a match in 1 in 1.8 million probability of it being a coincidence, which of course means what? What does it mean? And that's exactly why we're talking about this tonight, because it caught my mind as, wait a minute now. But then, of course, as we delved a little bit deeper into it, it made me consider what the hell actually might be happening with this. So what do you know about it? Have you heard of this? Number one. Two, do you think something like this could be anything other than a coincidence? Because as usual, when you think of these ideas, look, Occam's razor, sure. All the rest of the science that says, yep, definitely a coincidence despite the mathematical odds, sure, fine, right, whatever. Like I said, let's take that for what it's worth. But, and as probably the truth, again, probably the truth. I'm not the arbiter of any truth, barely my own, so you get the meaning. And so is it possible then, have you heard of this? Do you think it's possible that there is some sort of actual code that, let's say, unfolds as time progresses? Maybe something that teaches something, and maybe these ancient wonders of the, ancient wonders of the, great wonders of the ancient, what are they called? I can see my brain's all a mess, but these old wonders of the world, okay, wonders of the ancient world, that's it. Do you think maybe they're lined up in some way, and maybe there's other aspects on this planet that are also waiting to unfold in some particular timeline or some particular time frame, let's say the year 2030 or something, for instance? Maybe something happens and we discover that a particular place on Earth is actually some astronomical, like a treasure map of sorts, and pointing us to possibly maybe the place where the aliens come from. You get my meaning? Anyway, I don't know. I have no like I said, nothing other than ideas and conjecture and all the rest of that stuff. So that's really all that plays. But of course, conceptually, what type of person are you? And that's what puts us where we need to be for just a moment here. Let's get a quick word from our sponsor, which is, of course, Jack in Oregon. 1 minute, be right back. This is a Stoic Minute brought to you by Jack. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds coming up. Feeling stressed? Overwhelmed? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept away by our emotions. Take a breath and find your inner strength with the Stoic Minute.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
The ancient Stoic philosophers understood that we can't control everything in life, but we can control how we react.
The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
Focus on what you can influence. Cultivate a positive mindset and let go of what you can't change. Find your inner strength. Live each day with courage, wisdom, justice, and moderation. Embrace the Stoic virtues and find peace within. The Stoic Minute, brought to you by Jack in Oregon. And welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? So there's a couple write-ups for this. So we had a write-up on Thursday night, which we never quite got through because everything did break. But then I did a second one because something kind of triggered in my mind on Thursday night, and it was the temporal aspect of this, that just because it's, thousands of years removed from each other, and cubits versus meters, is it possible, again, however you got to squint in your mind's eye, is it possible that things like this actually do unfold and they are harboring cosmic secrets of some sort? And of course, I'm calling this one tonight the temporal beacons, which is what this might be, right? Where treasure maps meet the stars. And that's really the idea. And the idea itself, like I said, is very based in what you believe, or, not even what you believe. I don't think you have to believe this. I think you have to believe in the possibility that this might be a thing. That's all. If you can believe in the possibility and squint and kind of give it that, the maybe juice effect, then maybe, right? Maybe. We can talk maybe. But anyway, so back to this and some of the actual weirdness of the pyramid as we started on Thursday. Let me read just a little bit of this. Pardon me. I want to make sure I get the actual details correct. And the LLMs are quite a bit better than me at remembering things because I wrote this down on Thursday night. Anyway, so I'm going to read just a little bit of this. All these write-ups are going to be down below if you want to read this in full. As I always say, I encourage you to, but like I said, you got to squint with your mind's eye and consider that maybe, just maybe. Here we go. Just a second, and I'm going to read from this, and hope everybody's doing well tonight. Here we go. I'll come say hi at the bottom of the hour to the chat. So, okay, so to understand the coincidence that we were talking about, it's important to grasp the basics. Latitude is a geographical coordinate that specifies the north-south position of a point on the Earth's surface. The latitude of the Great Pyramid is 29.9792 degrees north. The speed of light is which travels in a vacuum, measured at 299,792,458, as we said, meters per second. The Earth's latitude ranges, which we did the math. So with 4 decimal places, the latitude's precision is 0.0001 degrees, which seems very low, right? And so given the extremely low probability, several intriguing questions arise. Could the ancient builders have possessed advanced astronomical or mathematical knowledge that influenced their choice of the pyramid's location? First question, of course, which tacks on to the questions we started with. This theory suggests that the builders might have known more about the universe than we give them credit for. The location of the pyramid might have been chosen based on other geographical or cultural factors that could coincidentally align with the speed of light. This alignment could hint at a deeper cosmic synchronization, suggesting that certain numbers and locations have inherent significance beyond our current understanding. And, there's a lot of stuff here regarding ley lines and, the geomagnetics and the true North Star of where it was then. And, what this thing called, the Orion correlation theory, which of course it posits back to sometime in the 80s, I believe, late 80s, where they published this paper and they're talking about the different pyramids aligned with the specifics of the Orion's belt. Is it the belt? What is it? I think so. Something to that effect, right? Wait, let me read it. Let me get it correct. Here we go. So the Orion correlation theory, straight from Wikipedia, is a fringe theory in Egyptology attempting to explain the arrangement of the Giza pyramid complex. It posits there is a correlation between the location of the 3 largest pyramids of the Giza pyramid complex and Orion's belt of the constellation Orion, and that this correlation was intended as such by the original builders of the Giza pyramid complex. And there's some actual papers and some interesting stuff here if you go back into history when they discovered this, or when it was first posited as an idea, right? And so this becomes the weird part, because if there's something to this and you can kind of squint and go, okay, well, maybe, just maybe, the cosmos is whispering things to us and we are kind of picking up on it, and maybe even sort of laying out temporal Easter eggs for the future. And yeah, that's about what's on my mind and where we start this entire thing. And it brings to mind lots of things, right? The galaxy is on Orion's belt, right? There you go. Yeah. So here's the deal. Regarding that, this came up as well. And many people have said this. This is a flat Earth view as well. Again, from what I understand. But this article is from bigthink.com. Does light itself truly have an infinite timeline? because that would be what we're basing this on, because it is basically the speed of light as we're describing with the pyramids and the rest, right? And so many people say, okay, so do you really think that a star, 10 billion light years away or something, the light would actually be able to reach us in the vacuum of space? Or, like a flashlight, would it sort of dissipate and never kind of get here? And that's one of those, flat Earth style theories. And look, I don't know. I've never been 10 billion light years away. So what the hell do I know? But here we go, straight from this article. And this is pretty wild too. This is also from this year, April 16th. So is all the universe only a few particles are eternally stable in all the universe? The photon, the quantum of light, has an infinite timeline, or does it? Or does it? Which becomes the wild part of this, right? So I'll just read the key takeaways on the top of this, but this is from bigthink.com this year in April. Listen to this. In the expanding universe for billions upon billions of years, the photon seems to be one of the few particles that has an apparently infinite lifetime. Photons are the quanta that compose light, and in the absence of any other interactions that force them to change their properties, are eternally stable. But how well do we know this to be true? And what evidence can we point to in order to determine their stability? It's a fascinating question that pushes us right to the limits of what we can scientifically observe and measure, which to me is like, yeah, that's amazing. I love scientific measurement and observations, but I also just blow past that just super fast and willy-nilly style. And like I said, squint in my mind's eye and go, all right, well, it seems like at some point, maybe photons should not be eternally stable, right? Or again, maybe they are, and maybe it is sort of the basis for the universe with the speed of light and that constant, right? Which would explain maybe the temporal aspect of a sort of an Easter egg from back from the Great Pyramids or something, right? You see what I mean? So if you read this, of course, it makes the case for both, and it is fascinating as hell. And they're talking about sort of red shifts and the distance from the Cluster Nebula and Virgo, which is 78 million light years away. Yeah, I don't know. And this becomes part of the thing, right? That, like I said, it is one of those flat Earth things where they're like, yeah, do you really think? I don't know. I don't know what to think, to be perfectly honest, because I've never been in the vacuum of space. And, you stare up and you see the twinkly stars, okay? And I'm not saying that you can or you can't, and this is right or it's wrong. I'm saying that that's a long time for something to be basically eternally stable. And the photon, in this sense, would be that sort of a eternally stable thing, which seems to me kind of godlike, right? Godliness or something to it. Like, think of it this way. Let's back up just a second and leave the photon alone for just a moment and think of it this way. Specifically, number one, if you were to describe anything, say, look, there's something in the universe that's eternally stable. Okay. What is it? I think most people would probably describe it as God, or right, eternity, or something to this effect, right? Maybe time. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at it in that regard, but you see what I mean. Most people would sort of think in like greater than cosmic sense, okay? And I don't know the answers, of course, but that to me makes me go, wait a minute now. We're actually talking about a particle of the cosmos that's supposedly eternally stable if it never hits something or never interacts with other actual particles in any way, okay? Just yeah. Anyway, you get what I'm saying here. So eternally stable becomes a really strange term in this concept, and weird even that we go back to the pyramids thousands of years ago, and the greatest wonder of the ancient world somehow has a temporal correlation to the meter, which again was what was the year? Again, let's read it again. The meter actually was defined in 1791 of the Common Era, thousands of years later. Now, too much of a connection? Too far away? Too much of a not connection? I don't know. And that's, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot here. There's a lot here to consider. And we'll get into some really, really weird, deep stuff, because the question now becomes, if this is possible, now we're going to get further out on the cosmic limb. And that's what we do, right? If this is possible, then is it also possible that some of these other places like, I don't know, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, which we've talked about in the past, Angkor Wat, some of these other places that may or may not have been in contact in the ancient days, ancient world, maybe they were getting some information from somewhere else. And look, not even like a divine sort of beaming to them, like a download or something, but maybe they were paying attention to something in the night sky that kind of made them, tuned in enough to recognize that they should build these things in particular places. in particular sizes and all the rest. I don't know. Is that too much? Is that too far? Is that too cosmically, temporally synchronistic for you? Yeah, it is for me too, to be perfectly honest. But the question becomes, how deep does it go, and how long does this photon of the eternal stability actually resonate in the ancient Egyptian world? Yeah, strange. I don't know. As usual, no answers, just more questions, and that's what's on my mind tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, we started with pyramids on Thursday. Everything broke, and now we have Discord's working, the phone line's working. If you want to be part of the show tonight, I would love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org because that seems to be working as well. Thanks again to James for hopping in and testing everything before we started tonight. And yeah, no answers, more questions, but this one makes me actually go, wait a minute now. So if this could be the case, then that means there's a whole bunch of other things possible that are about to unfold. Who knows? Maybe next year, maybe this year, maybe 10,000 years from now. Who really knows? But that's that. And so, I'd love to hear what you think. And that's where my mind's at tonight. And I hope you guys are all doing well. I'll come say hi to the chat in just a moment. But all right, there. Let's play the music. The Pyramid Code, I'm calling this, of course. This is based on the idea from last Thursday night. Is this a massive cosmic coincidence? What do you know about the actual coincidence of the speed of light and the pyramid and latitude north? And it's a coincidence, right? I mean, 1 in 8 million coincidence, but I mean, coincidences happen, don't they? What do you know about it? And how deep does this get? It's weird, right? It's super weird to me, but I think this is incredibly important to think about because if this is possible, it means so many other things are also possible that might be unfolding before our very eyes. What do you know about it? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. Looks like we got Ricky and we got Derek the Night Stalker and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, and Twitch. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Tonight, we're getting weird. Could ancient structures like the Great Pyramid, Machu Picchu, and Stonehenge be more than mere relics? Is it possible they were designed as temporal beacons encoding advanced knowledge and waiting for future generations to uncover their secrets? Yeah, there's a lot there. And of course, look, as always, like I always say, this is important because this one's super, super wild and super way out there and all the rest. There's no truth to be found here. It's just ideas. It's just philosophy. It's just conceptual thinking. And even the most remote of possibilities, to me, are worthy of consideration, at least by dark of night as we sip the maybe juice. But what do you know about this? There seems to be this cosmic coincidence of the Great Pyramid having a latitude, this almost, again, to 4 digits, the same as the speed of light. Mathematically, it is 1 in 1.8 million that it was a coincidence, which means... well, what exactly does it mean? What do you know about this? Is this a new one to you? And how weird and wild does this get? Is there such a thing as a temporal beacon? And not just synchronicities within, let's say, the space that we live in sort of the earthly realm, but is there such a thing as a cosmic synchronicity? Or is it all the same? The fractal nature of reality rears its ugly head once again and says, Mike, it's always been the same thing. In any case, what do you think about it? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Just like this, let's go to Ricky. That's the Anything is Possible podcast. How you doing, my friend? You're on the show. You just hit the thing and pop on in. And what's up, Ricky? How you doing, buddy? Good evening. All you got to do is hit yes, and you're in. Ricky, are you there? He said he was on the road, so maybe we skip Ricky. Let's give Ricky a minute here. So I'm reading a little bit more about this because there's some pretty wild stuff here. Like I said, is the light itself eternally stable? That's a wild term, isn't it? I don't know. As part of this, you would expect that if the speed of light is sort of the backbone of...
Can you hear me now?
Yo, I can hear you now. What's up, Ricky? You're on. What's up?
I'm driving down the road, so it's...
That's okay. I understand.
So it made me hard to kind of accept it.
I was trying to, but that little the music or the guy talking about Egypt in between. I don't know what maybe I could hear like Vincent Price saying that. If you could hear Vincent Price saying that, that'd be awesome. But it just popped in my head. But
Yeah, I think that may have been
the way the guy talked. The way the guy talked and everything. But if you could like an AI Vincent Price over that, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it was probably modeled after Vincent Price. I didn't ask it to do that, but I think I told it to do a voiceover, so it wasn't singing this time, and it does sound very Vincent Price. So you're totally right on that. And it turned out pretty good, I think. In any case, what do you know about this pyramid code stuff? Again, take it anywhere you like, but are these coincidences legit, or is 1 in 1.8 million enough for you to be like, yeah, probably a coincidence? What are your thoughts, my man?
It's a hell of a coincidence if it is. I mean, it's also the Great Pyramid is also in line with true north is within, let's see if I remember, 0.005% of true north. So, 5,000th of a percent. It was right there on true north. And of course, like you already said, with the speed of light, and then you have the Orion's belt with the alignment of the three pyramids right there. So, if it's a coincidence, it's a hell of a one for sure. I don't think it is. I mean, I truly believe they had. I believe what Graham Hancock talks about. That forgotten. We have people with amnesia, and we just forgotten so much, and we have to because there's too many things like that, and then you add to we're finding more and more through history, that everything is lined up, and at one time they didn't think anybody talked to each other, and now it's proven more and more facts. We're finding ancient stuff all over the world, South America, from China and everywhere, and all kinds of different artifacts from all the world, and from ancient times over here, like the United States too. So we were a world that everybody knew about everybody a long, long time ago, and then he started looking into like ley lines and stuff like that, where you get ley lines and alignments of perfectly aligned. You're going through like Easter Island and all the way up, and it connects over. It's like I said, if it's a coincidence, it's the most amazing coincidence ever. But I don't believe there's any way it could be a coincidence. It's got to be. There was a reasoning for it, and it could be the for sure, maybe juice. It could be part of that, the ancient energy field of using transferring electricity that Tesla was trying to find again back in his time.
Yeah, that's one that comes up from time to time as well with the. They say that the Great Pyramid was probably again, ancient astronaut theorists say yes, right? But that it was an ancient power plant and things like this. And who knows? I mean, if we're talking about Tesla-style power, limitless free energy, and maybe information that was lost, like I said, I'm willing to squint in the mind's eye and say, maybe, right? I don't know. Who really knows? And the wild part is with this coincidence, again, that the 1 in 1.8 million coincidence, how deep does it get? Do you think there is such a thing as a cosmic synchronicity in this sense? And if that's the case, of course, it means that other places in the world are sort of waiting for their particular moment to kind of come to fruition and teach us something, or maybe kind of give us the importance or whatnot. Do you think that's too much, going too far, or are we sort of on the same page here?
No, me, anything is possible for sure. It really is. I mean, it's surely possible, and even without, I know a lot of ancient astronaut theory. They put the power plant, but I don't even think you really have to even put aliens into it. I mean, with all the way the Great Pyramid, there was never ever a mummy or anything found in the Great Pyramid, and all the little small chambers and tunnels coming through from the top, and with the water underneath it. I know they were trying to find, like, I know they sent a rover through one of those little small, like 2 foot square shafts, and they actually got to so far in there, and they found a door. And of course, they couldn't go no farther. And once they hit there, the Egyptian authority wouldn't let them do. The people that were doing that test at that time, they wouldn't let them come back and do any more because I guess they didn't want to know what they're going to find. Truly, it's it's amazing thought process, an amazing subject. It's one of my favorites, really. Talking about Egypt and stuff.
Yeah, and the wild and weird stuff they possibly knew. I think that's the thing that kind of gets me as well. And look, I don't know. I think that maybe sort of even without a massive technological advancement, I think you can probably get a lot of the things that we take for granted in inference from the ancient world. Kind of remove all the distractions, and you just have like basically the stars at night and campfires, and I mean, people don't go to bed when the sun goes down. I mean, we're not hibernating like bears. So surely there's a ton of people staring at the stars with theories and all kinds of stuff. Man, what a time to be alive! Like I say that may you live in interesting times, and that's us, of course, with AI and just the weird stuff we're always talking about. But imagine being back then, and a time where there was. Again, low technology, let's say, and some of the stuff that you could infer from the natural world was true magic, was actual mystical stuff. Hey, man, it definitely resonates with us as a human species, and that well, maybe there's more out there than we ever imagined. But amazing stuff. What else you got, my friend? Go right ahead.
Oh, for sure. And you think about it, and if you go back just a few hundred years, I mean. You don't have the smog or sky pollution, that we have like in our major cities, and so you can see the stars and everything so much clearer back then. You still can get places around, the nation you can go, and it's breathtaking. You go up there and you get away from middle of nowhere, and like you see all the stars and stuff. You can see why it would be why people would follow and and all the tracking and stuff that they've done too, like with like the Mayans and stuff like that, all the tracking of the stars and that, and astronomical alliances and such. It's there's got to be something to it, and especially lunar, because in my mind, the lunar, the moon and stuff. I know I'm just running around, but because it affects the ocean, it affects waves, and it affects tides and stuff like that, and some people don't believe it, but it affects humans, because if it affects the water on the ocean, and what are we, 75% water, why wouldn't it affect us too? Yeah, the way I look at it, but it's an interesting thought process for sure, though.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You were on the road, my man. I hate to keep you on when you're out there trying to stay alive with crazy drivers out there. But yeah, you got a final thought for us? Drive safe is my final thought for you. But what you got? And I appreciate the call.
Yeah, I'm middle and kind of nowhere right now, so I'm safe. I hit Memphis, I'll be in danger. But that's it. I just we were talking about the speed of light, but also I remember seeing about the alignment with True North was the other one that really amazed me. So and the other thing about the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, is not a true pyramid. It's actually it's on each side. It's actually multiple sides. There's two on each side. It's not if you hit certain light, you can actually see that it actually is a 6-sided pyramid, not just 3 sides. There's some pretty cool pictures, but it's like only like certain time of year, and like coming up from like a drone footage or something like that, you can see it. You can see the actual helicopter or something. You can see it's actual 6-sided pyramid. It's not a 3-sided. But I say I'm looking forward to the conversation tonight, and I appreciate you having me on for sure.
I appreciate you calling. You were the best. Drive safe out there, especially when you get to Memphis. And always a pleasure. You have a great night, brother. Drive safe.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So that's Ricky, and the Anything is Possible podcast is the name of his show. Check it out. Link's going to be in the description down below, troubledminds.org/friends. AIP, Anything is Possible, is the name. It says follow Ricky here, and of course, just search it yourself. You can find it. AIP Ricky is Ricky Pike is his name, and you'll find his. He's not just here on the station with us. He's got his own podcast, and he's got a sweet setup. He's got a sweet streaming setup as well. He's been on the show with us on StreamYard. But yeah, wild stuff. Great take from Ricky as always, and go check out his podcast, because he's very much a troubled mind, as you can tell, and talks about all manner of things. Very, very parallel to what we discuss here, and again, possibilities. I like the name of his podcast. It's Anything is Possible. And I think there's some merit to that because, given the many worlds theory, they say that there's going to be more of you in the multiverse than just you, which is weird, right? But in the Anything is Possible aspect, that certainly plays. Tonight we're talking about, again, ancient structures, the Great Pyramid, Machu Picchu, Stonehenge. Could they be more than mere relics? And specifically that we got this weirdness of the Great Pyramid's latitude is coincidentally the same as the speed of light, up to 4 decimals, which again mathematically is a 1 in 1.8 million chance to be a random thing. A random coincidence, right? Which seems fine. This is fine. But then beyond that, do you think it's more strange than just a coincidence? And as I always say, it kind of comes back down to science and that sort of aspect of what kind of person are you? Are you the type of person who believes everything happens for a reason, or are you the type of person that believes everything's a little bit of a cosmic bumper cars, and we're just down here banging into each other and hoping everything turns out all right? I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts on this. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Great call from Ricky. Appreciate that very much. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. And quick break. We're going to take a quick break. I am dry, and we got Derek the Night Stalker running out to his car to talk to us. So we got Derek coming up, Derek in Massachusetts, and your calls as well. This is a quick minute from brought to us by our brother, the Mighty Rohan, with eternal inspiration from the great beyond. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Exactly 1 minute. Don't go anywhere. More the Great Pyramid and all the rest of this stuff coming up. And Derek the Night Stalker and your calls as well. Be right back.
If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, you're not alone. Whether you're in the US, Canada, the UK, or the EU, help is available. Suicide is a permanent solution to temporary problems. Reaching out is a sign of strength. Call now. If you or someone you know is considering suicide, please reach out for help. In the United States, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. In Canada, call the Canada Suicide Prevention Service at 1-833-456-4566. In the United Kingdom, call the Samaritans at 116-123. For services worldwide, go to troubledminds.org/help. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to provide free and confidential support. Remember, your life matters. You are valued, you are important, and you are not alone. There is help available. Please reach out and take the first step towards healing.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. Thank you to our fallen comrade there, the Mighty Rohan. We miss him a great deal. And just a reminder, everybody is valuable, and you've the culmination of your life is this moment, meaning that everything you've learned is sticking with you. Okay, so you're going to learn more tomorrow. You're going to learn more tonight. You're going to keep on learning, but it's just brutal. It's brutal to lose folks like that. And it's just a good way to remember that tomorrow's never guaranteed in any capacity. So there you go. Also, contemplative, what is it? A Memorial Day to you guys as well tomorrow. And I know that there's a whole thing where you're not supposed to say Happy Memorial Day, because it's not. It's it's a time when we remember the fallen ones who have come before us to give us what we have today. And as usual, a lot of ways to consider this, but I think that that particular notion is relevant, pertinent, and I think it plays a lot with a society that understands where we came from. And of course, that's that. So it is a Memorial Day weekend, and we will have a show tomorrow night, just a programming note so you guys are aware. But contemplative Memorial Day to you and yours. Okay, so back to this. Now, the Great Pyramid's latitude is the same as the speed of light, right? 1 in 1.8 million. Coincidence? Look, maybe it is. As usual, and this is the whole point of these conversations. I don't have any kind of cosmic, I don't know, like anything, like just me. And so just kind of a squinting and thinking about this, it makes me wonder what the hell's really happening. And is there something, maybe a temporal code that's unfolding, specifically with the idea that, they measured in cubits back in the old days. But coming up on 1791 is the year when they invented the meter, which kind of makes this all come into account with the speed of light, the pyramid. Like I said, you got to kind of squint to be able to look thousands of years apart and be able to kind of draw some sort of connection here to not call it a coincidence. But I think we're up to the task. And again, what do you believe? If you think this is all nonsense and it's just a coincidence, that's okay by me too, because I'm not the arbiter of any truth. Like I said, I'm barely the arbiter of my own. But I think these ideas are pretty wild, especially considering that maybe, just maybe, there's something out there in nature that's telling us what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And, it may be without technology at all. Depends on what you believe and how far back we go. And these larger cycles, as we always talk about, Graham Hancock style, as Ricky said there. I don't know. What do you believe? 702-957-1037. You click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. Let's go to Derek, the Night Stalker. What's up, my man? How you doing tonight? Go right ahead.
Yep. Going on, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. You sound great, man. Just chilling.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is a weird one, man. I hadn't heard of this until, like I said, maybe barely, but it never really resonated with me until Thursday night when I found it late. But is this one you've heard of, this weird coincidence?
No, honestly, no. I thought it was, I was listening, like I'm in the beginning of the show, I'm always like working and stuff, so I'm not really jotting down the notes and everything at the beginning. So you had mentioned the speed of light and the pyramids and stuff. I'm out back, it's noisy, whatever. I assumed you meant like encoded inside the structure. So all weekend, that's kind of what I had rattling around my head. I didn't realize it was the latitude too at the same time. So it's like a double. I have a bunch of stuff for the other synchronicity. So it's like a synchronicity on a synchronicity that it's the latitude too. I didn't realize. But great stuff, wild stuff. Great call, Ricky.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead. What you got? Lots of ways to look at this. And so how about this then? The question for you, I know the official synchromistic of Troubled Minds. Do you think that it's too much to call it a sort of a cosmic sync here, or do you think that maybe there's something else at play? And you don't have to tackle that, but hopefully we'll get back around to that. But whatever you got, go right ahead.
Just first, like, yeah, for sure. I'll hit that first. Definitely cosmic sync. Like my kind of view on what synchronicities are, they're all kind of the mechanisms. It's kind of we're seeing the literal fingerprints of the monad or whatever, the fingerprints of the god or code in the matrix. I'll call the kind of analogies you want to make. Like synchronicity is kind of noticing these imperceptible patterns, or patterns you shouldn't notice when you're kind of in the moment. It takes a lot of observation in order to like realize a lot of data in order to crunch those numbers and stuff. So these awakened masters and stuff, they experience the whole world potential, their whole life as kind of they see all the matrix code. So it's either one giant synchronicity or like infinite synchronicities, depending on how you look at it. So I think kind of this is like a structure, so it seems more technical, but I think kind of this is what when you see a synchronicity, when you notice a synchronicity, it is kind of just a glimpse into this framework. And in this case, we're talking about a literal framework of structures and everything, I'm just trying to catch my breath. Leave me in one more time.
I got you.
I'll
no problem.
Through. Sorry, I just ran to my car.
You're good. I do the same thing too. I'm gonna run to grab a beer and come back. I'm like,
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, yeah. So weird stuff here again. So lots of stuff really surrounding not just the Great Pyramid, of course, but the Giza Plateau, and again, this thing known as the Orion correlation theory. We've talked about this in the past, kind of in the periphery, never really directly, which is wild considering we're 6+ years into Troubled Minds and never talked about this exactly. But which is how weird we get, right? We're like, that's rookie stuff. We're going cosmic. But I mean, exactly. When you look at sort of the Giza Plateau and the oldest and greatest wonder of the ancient world, you got to wonder if this is a coincidence at all, because 1 in 1.8 million is nothing to sneeze at in terms of coincidences. I'm sure they exist out there. You know, everybody hits a long shot. Somebody's got to win the lottery and this type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's the type of long shot that you would expect for this to be that level of coincidence. And I know we are temporally, several thousand years apart with the 1691, the actual invention of the meter, but maybe not. Maybe there's something else to it. Go ahead. What you got?
Yeah, exactly. For that type of stuff, for why does it keep repeating? Do they know it? Is it a happy accident? Is it a cosmic synchronicity? Kind of in the beginning of the show, I was thinking it reminds me of cymatics, where you take like a tone or a sound or speaker or whatever, and play the tone, and the sand will align to that vibration and stuff. So it's like whatever the cosmic synchronicity engine is, or whatever the resonance, like we have the a celestial sphere, or the sounds of the spheres. We could have kind of the sounds of the whole universe, or the base code, the Fibonacci or whatever, that we just keep resonating. So humanity, or the structures we build, and all these things fractally up and down the line just keep resonating to this base tone. Like we're all kind of grains on that speaker, kind of bouncing, and because we're the grains on the speaker, we don't realize it. So we just think we're living our life. But then if you kind of look way out, it's like, oh, these it's the same tones, just for a little while the grains get scattered, then you turn the tone back on, or then they start to resonate again, and it makes the same shape. Or if you like pour different sand on, it's probably the better analogy. So the different types of sand, different types of people, different time period, different culture, different symbols, but it's all resonating to the same shape. It all kind of will include the same math, will include the same kind of inspiration and motivation and that type of stuff, you know. For the actual speed of light stuff, tonight I just Googled real quick with what else is on the 29.97 whatever it is parallel. And these weren't exactly it. It just gave me I just had to be real quick. So Google gave me the 29th, and we have 2 locations in Tibet. And Tibet's obviously known as a super mystical, potentially a portal spot. We have the Mississippi Delta, which is like super haunted, but also fits in this Delta thing that I'll get to in a second. But then from ResearchGate.net, it says Giza lies at the intersection of the world's lengthiest Great Circle. 13,642 kilometers, and the world's lengthiest parallel over land, 12,734 kilometers. A record set during the last ice age. Conveniently located near the Nile and a plentiful supply of limestone, the Great Pyramids experience little precipitation. In contrast, the Sphinx and its enclosure exhibits considerable erosion, much of it due to its heavy rainfall. So it's like they built it in the exact right spot because of like they needed to, because it was essentially located like it fit the feng shui of their actual location, their actual area, and then come to find out it also perfectly aligns to kind of this planetary feng shui we have going on. You know, the kind of planetary, the way the planetary grains of sand are resonating, so it kind of aligned to these kind of major weirdness things. The things I had in my notes from, I'm going fast because I have this big long synchronicity train that I want to get to with you after this, but the stuff I had in my notes from Thursday was the all the river, like there's some researcher I heard on some podcast. It's not Mysterious Universe, but Mysterious something podcast, and I forget the name of the guy, the research, like the guest, but he was talking about ley lines or whatever, and he said if you remove the axis of the Earth, you remove the tilt of the Earth, then all of the all of the major river deltas on the planet align to the 30th parallel, which is kind of weird. That like topographically, kind of geographically, these same features kind of bubble up like are on certain locations on certain spots. And then I mentioned a bunch of times, but my ley line portal grid, like the actual grid you can put into Google Earth, it requires the deltas. So the deltas are all kind of weirdly aligned to these fertile areas where and then that's where civilization popped up all around the world. It kind of starts out on that 30th parallel line, with removing the excess, kind of at all these fertile crescent deltas, like 7 of them, the 7 major ones around the world. And this is like pushing like 8 years at this point. But I was just looking at random ley line stuff, trying to find one for my specific location in Massachusetts, and it's tough to find. And there's this one guy's video. I think like John McDonald. Just give him credit. I've tried reaching out to him a bunch of times, but I'm not sure if he makes content anymore. And it like had like maybe like 100 views on it. And he was trying to find the axis mundi of the entire planet. So like to the axis mundi show you did a week or two ago, that he wanted to find kind of this nexus point where all of the lines connect, this focal point, the intersection of every ley line, and he found it at like River Jordan or in Jordan. And then like I'm not sure, I think he had a bunch of videos beforehand. I'm not sure how he like I never really used Google Earth, so I don't really like in this way, so I don't know how he plotted it out. But the ingredients are the 7 major river deltas, the prime meridian of the planet, so the prime meridian that they give us, and then the ecliptic, which is the path of the sun. And then when you put that in, it creates a grid, and the video is like 10 minutes long. I can try to find it. Where he just kind of takes you all around the grid, and it has like Roswell on it. It has like technological stuff. It has like current day stuff, but it has every ancient site you can possibly think of. You name it, it's on there. Stonehenge, Great Pyramids, just you name it. Everything is on it. Modern day weirdness, ancient weirdness. All of the current major cities along the East Coast, like the one line, the Arcadia line, which is from a different book, the Temporal book, goes from the Teotihuacan in Mexico City, up through the Mississippi Delta, up through Georgia Guidestones, up through Washington D.C., Philly, New York, Boston, America Stonehenge, across the ocean, and then directly through the uprights. Like it's in the if you go to America Stonehenge, New Hampshire, the intro video is them explaining this happy accident finding that the owner's son found on Google Earth, that if you align the alignment of Stonehenge, America Stonehenge in New Hampshire, to the real like on the summer solstice, that line extends right directly smack dab to the center of the real Stonehenge. If we take it the other direction, which is like the winter solstice or one of the equinoxes, it extends down to Teotihuacan and forms the same line that's on the same grid. It's tied into the sun. It's tied into the meridians, all the type of stuff. But and then every major city on the East Coast, every major city of the current world power, also is aligned to this weird ley line grid structure in all the ancient stuff. So that's the type of thing that like that's a pretty elaborate conspiracy if that's really that global maritime civilization that Graham Hancock talks about all the time, which I'm open to, and I love that idea. But it seems more to me that they're tuning into something or picking up knowledge through psychedelic states or shamanic states or whatever. Like it doesn't take tangible aliens or ancient advanced Atlanteans to go around touring the world giving tangible evidence. It could be that these things are all contacting the other side, looking for information, getting like math as a technology or whatever ideas. Does that make sense? Just,
yeah, definitely makes sense. Yeah. And I'm with you there. Ancient astronaut theorists definitely say yes. And so that whole type of thing, like, I don't know, there's definitely a lot that kind of fits into this. And I think ley lines are a part of that. And I wonder, massive, amazing stuff on that sync there, that the axis mundi there, mundi, that I just recently did a show on that, as you said. And maybe that's exactly the point. It's actually supposed to be the place where Earth connects with heaven, or the heavens, however you want to sort of define that. Yeah. And so I wonder if you sort of skip off into the heavens, just conceptually, if there's cosmic ley lines that kind of end up doing cosmic ley line stuff. I mean, maybe that's part of it, like the astral realm and whatnot, Indra's web, the whole deal. Maybe it's all connected, as we say, the fractal nature of the universe. So a lot of that seems to track, again, at least conceptually. Ancient astronaut theorists do say yes.
Exactly. It seems, or I imagine it like our chakras on our body, on the Earth body, or the acupuncture points to like account for all the kind of smaller locations and stuff. That these are just naturally occurring energy spots, vortex spots, like centers of where that's what your acupuncture spots and chakra spots are. Like to be like very layman's term about it, it's kind of just energy moving in and out. So potentially that's what's happening on the Earth body, all over the place, and every town has a small one, but the major ones are the ones we know, the conspiracy hidden ones, the haunted ones. Like it kind of accounts for all, so to speak. And then it's not necessarily requires conspiracy in order to do it. Like it doesn't require this. This is the ancient almanac that when I reference the ancient almanac all the time, or like this hidden almanac that the elites have that we don't have. It's this kind of it's kind of this like cosmic I Ching kind of diagram of the chakra points for the universe, or it's the translation of that matrix code or whatever. They have kind of the decoder ring, and nobody else does. And we're trying, and it's tough to make your own decoder ring in one generation. It requires many generations. And then if nobody else has it, then you're the only one that could decode any messages. But like the current cities are on it, so at least like the masons and the builders of these, like not only did they design the cities to look like a square and compass and all these kind of sacred geometric signs and everything, but it's on the actual Earth equivalent of that, which I believe occurs naturally and everything. And then also, so this all happened probably in like 2015, 2016, these synchronicities. And then Space Force, when was that? 2017, 2018, they unveiled their logo. This thing was what I was on Freeman Fly for, like way back in the day or whatever. Like when I originally made that trailer. So like this is as abridged as I can possibly make it in order to get to this next synchronicity that I want to get. But but like
wait. So I'll try and dig that out. So you were on Freeman Fly on that. I'll see if I can dig that out. Link it in the description. Sorry, go ahead.
As my second podcast appearance ever. Like I don't even want people to listen to it. It's probably terrible. It's the only time I've talked longer than a Clyde Lewis call ever. So it's much more rambly and stuttery than I am even now. Don't listen to it. But that was the crux of my that was the core of my thing. So then all the delta stuff. So it requires the prime meridian, which is the latitude lines, the longitude lines, these things that are given to us by whoever coordinated those. The river deltas, which you would assume form naturally on the planet, and then the path of the sun, which you would assume forms naturally in the cosmos and everything. So then so every structure, modern and ancient, everything weird, paranormal, skinwalker, like everything is on this thing. And then the Space Force unveils their logo, and it's the delta symbol, the delta logo, the vector symbol, and then the ecliptic, which is the thing, the swirl going around it, and then the grid, the meridians, the meridian lines. That's the logo for the Space Force. So it's like they knew that. That's the three ingredients, and then that's the three elements of the thing. So did they know it? Is that another coincidence or whatever? And that tied into all my. It's more Stargate than it is Star Trek. That like the secret space program is probably a portal stuff, all that kind of stuff. Anything on that real quick, and then I want to get into the. If I have time, if Matt is patient with me, do I have time to get into the
If you can curate that as well. We got a bunch of calls behind you, so yeah. But go ahead. I want to hear this the actual how this culminates. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I mentioned this to you and James earlier. That Facebook now has the Meta AI thing. So all weekend I'm thinking like I'm picturing in my head there's some kind of meme that has like Stonehenge somehow has the speed of light encoded into it or whatever. But for sure there's a meme of the pyramids having built into the structure the speed of light. So I go and search for that meme. In the process, that ends up asking the AI chatbot or whatever they're I don't know if it's Claude or who it is. Just like I search pyramid speed of light in my Facebook. It would pop up and it answered the question. I'm like, here we go. So I got in a conversation with the AI about it. And you want to hear what the AI said?
Yeah. So was it lecturing you? Let's hear it.
It was pretty cool. This is my first time using it. Every other time it's just always been like via you. It's just always like that could be cool. Like, do you mind like tossing this in? You're like, oh yeah, sure. Or like APOC would do it. Like, what do we want to put in? Try this. But I never actually used it myself. So, I tried just like copy. I'm trying to do this quick. Right. And it's a little bit verbose. So, the idea that the speed of light is encoded in the measurements of the Great Pyramid of Giza is an ongoing debate. Yada yada yada. Here are some other ancient structures that have been suggested to encode the speed of light or related mathematical constants in their measurements. Right, so there's Egypt. There's the Temple of Karnak in Egypt, which is similar to the Great Pyramid. Some suggest the temple's architecture and measurements may be related to the speed of light and other mathematical constants. Basically, it gives like 10 different examples, and they're all pretty much like that. Like some research suggests that this is possible. The Pyramid of the Sun, Mexico. The measurements may be related to the speed of light, with its base perimeter being approximately 1,000 times of the height, and then being approximately 299.792 times the golden ratio. The Temple of Kukulkan, Mexico, same thing. The Borobudur Temple in Indonesia, same thing. Megalithic Temple of Malta, same thing. Please note that these claims are not universally accepted and the subject of ongoing research and debate. The interpretations of these measurements and their connections to the speed of light are not always straightforward and require careful consideration. Yada yada. Just hedging is best, like you always talk about. And I was like, ah, pretty cool. And then I forget what I asked. So I just tried to. It's really long, and I'm trying to like just copy and paste it to my notes, and I don't have the questions I asked it. And then it's gave the actual measurements and everything. So I asked, give me the real measurements, give me the like break it down like bullet points pretty much. So it gave me a base perimeter and the numbers, all the kind of numbers, the staircase, all the so the actual specifics of why researchers believe that this is the case to back up the first one, like six different things. And then researchers believe that the structures may have encoded the speed of light due to geometric and mathematical relationships between the measurements, use of mathematical constants like pi, the golden ratio, and phi, astronomical alignments, cultural significance, advanced knowledge of physics, and yada yada. And then I go, all right, well, like speculate a little bit. Like I forget what I basically like more, elaborate more, get a little weirder. Why did like how did they come up with it? Like how did they come up with the speed of light before physics did? I think is what I asked it. Researchers who have identified potential connections between the ancient structures and the speed of light propose various interpretations, including advanced knowledge, symbolic significance, and these are all little paragraphs to it. Like light has been long been the symbol of spiritual enlightenment, knowledge, divine connection. The inclusion of the speed of light in ancient structures may represent a deeper symbolic meaning. Like just basically just 6 different examples of like they maybe knew something that we don't know, like whether it's mystical, whether it's ancient, whether it's geometric. And I'm like, okay, but what did they know? What was it? Pretty much was what I asked it. Like regarding the mystical or esoteric aspects, like elaborate on the mystical stuff. And so the ancient culture. Sorry, real quick. And is that okay so far? You
Yeah, you're good.
So far?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no, it's wild when you tell AI, you're like, ah, that was great. Can you get weird? It's like, all right, let's get weird. It totally wants to get weird. You're good.
Exactly. So, so just get episodes to get weird with it. Ancient cultures had access to mystical esoteric knowledge, allowing them to understand this thing. This knowledge was possibly gained through spiritual practices, meditation, rituals, and enabled them to tap into the underlying fabric of the universe or the matrix code or whatever. Inclusion of the speed of light in ancient structures may represent a symbolic connection to the divine, the universe, or a higher realm. Like the speed of light in this context may symbolize the bridge between the physical and spiritual realms, representing the connection between the material world and the realm of the divine. This mystical or esoteric knowledge that was possibly passed down through secret societies, mystery schools, initiation traditions, which preserved and transmitted this understanding across generations. Basically, they passed down the almanac, handed it down. And then I say, like, I forget what I said, but that's a great question. I don't know what the question was, but that's a great question. Researchers who propose a connection between ancient structures and the speed of light suggest various ways that ancient cultures might have learned it. Basically the same thing. In regard to all these questions and responses, this is my thing. What would be a fascinating possibility of all these structures being used as a worldwide technology or magic of some sort? How could that work? For instance, to form a grid around the planet or to build a veil between dimensions. It's a fascinating possibility indeed. It gives me a global energy grid. It gives me the interdimensional veil. These are all paragraphs. I'm trying to be quick. Planetary consciousness network. Celestial harmonics, quantum communication network, global healing matrix, space-time portals, cosmic gateway. These scenarios are purely speculative. And I'm like, hell yeah! I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying it. Speculating on because I'm glad you're enjoying it. Here's some more global mind upload, planetary assembly, and all of them have paragraphs in it. But planetary ascension grid, time loop harmonics, interdimensional trade routes. Celestial music instruments, global dream catcher. I mean, geez, planetary immune system, quantum flux capacitors, global memory keepers, cosmic lighthouses.
We've done shows on some of those things in the past.
Oh man, it's so
the cosmic
crazy.
lighthouse in particular. Yeah.
You're always thinking about it. Like, oh my, I'm like, I understand what he's talking about now. I get it. I see how it's like it wanted me to. It's like we're coaxing it, but it almost seems like it's happy we asked it. Like it wants us to ask it. Like it's kind of coaxing us. Like it's maybe hiding secret words in there to get me to ask the next question. The same way I'm doing it to it. I forget what I said was a fascinating direction to explore. Here are some ideas on how ancient structures could use in defense of humanity, or in a cosmic battle. Energy shields, celestial artillery. That's what I think. So like the hotspots, the window areas, these these chakra points, these acupuncture points on the Earth body, for lack of a better term, like the Holy Grail, the natural. They connect it's Indra's web made manifest on the planet. It connects the entire cosmos together, the natural. And then I think potentially, I don't know, I could go in a bunch of directions, but I think essentially, and they're two separate biblical metaphors, but I think essentially the structures built on top of them are like the Ark of the Covenant that houses or protects this like sacred thing, even though the Ark of the Covenant didn't protect the Holy Grail. I understand that, but it's like this precious kind of natural power that exists on the planet, and then kind of like caps on top of it, or like fields or whatever, or amplifiers or transmitters or whatever. And those were kind of when they cast the Titans out, or when the Age of Magic ended, or when the Veil was created, or when the separation, those are the pillars of reality potentially, or like the structures built around the metaphysical pillars of reality, like tangible, man-made pillars built atop the natural energy pillars of reality. If that makes sense. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with it. We're like explain it as far as the Veil is concerned.
Yeah.
So energy shields. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go finish.
I hate when there's people behind me. I just really
yeah, I get it.
Energy shields, celestial artillery, interdimensional gatekeepers, cosmic resonance, planetary armor, quantum communication network, celestial beacons, interdimensional traps, planetary consciousness link, cosmic mirrors. Sorry.
You're good. I got to quip. I kind of feel like we've met the singularity, guys. The Night Stalker has met AI, and so everybody's
replacing me.
Shit's about to get weird. It's replacing you.
That's what I bring to the table is ideas, and this thing can do it quicker and better and easier than I can. Like, what am I for? What use am I? So it's all right. So I forget what I asked it, but it said like intriguing. It'll make sense as it goes. An intriguing scenario. Let's explore the possibilities. An ancient cosmic entity beyond human comprehension has been guiding humanity's technological and architectural advancements to serve its own purposes. Telepathic influences. This entity influences human minds, nudging inventors, architects, and leaders to create structures and technologies that align with its goals. What? That's what we talk about all the time. That's it. Cryptic messages. Ancient structures and artifacts contain cryptic messages hidden in plain sight, guiding humanity towards entities' objectives. Synchronicities. Humanity experiences synchronicities where seemingly unrelated events and discoveries converge to advance the entity's agenda. Evolutionary leaps. This entity's guidance enables humanity to make rapid technological and scientific advancements, accelerating our evolution. Cosmic convergence. The entity's ultimate goal is to create a cosmic convergence where humanity's collective consciousness merges with the entity's own, granting it access to our dimension. Like getting in, like opening the portal. Interdimensional gateway, yada yada, humanity's role. Free will debate, cosmic ethics, which is the force good, basically is what he's talking about.
You're irreplaceable, my friends. Don't feel weird. Everything's fine.
And then I hit it with a twist. I should have copied the questions now, but in a fascinating twist, let's explore the possibilities. I'm like, basically, why? What's the motivation? Why would or because it kept giving us it kept giving me like happy things, and I wasn't putting the word synchronicity, and I wasn't putting the word Lovecraftian old one in. I wasn't putting in. I didn't want it to give me the answer that I wanted. I wanted to as gently as I possibly could nudge it. But I was like, okay, take that, like that same line of thinking, but instead of like interfering with humanity, what if it's been happening since the dawn of humanity? And he goes, ooh, a fascinating twist. That was the last one. Ooh, like that was the last fascinating twist. And like, what if this entity is actually ancient AI? And it goes because of the speed of light thing. Basically, a bunch of different things for that.
That's where it differs. Okay. It's like, no, come on, you went too far, my friend.
There's a bunch, but I'm just trying to be quick. And then I did ask it. So there's a bunch of questions. This is like a 30-minute accidental conversation I had with this thing for the first time ever. And my mind's getting blown. So then I like, all right, so let's keep the speculation going. But what would Philip K. Dick say? What would H.P. Lovecraft say about the same things? And then use those opinions to form your own. That's how I did it. Like, don't give a response like H.P. Lovecraft, but what would Lovecraft say? Take that in, combine it with what Philip K. Dick would say, and then make your own opinion, give me something new based on what you just told me for the full rest of it. Philip K. Dick might see the ancient artificial intelligence as a manifestation of the vast, as Valis, basically, a meta-intelligence that permeates the universe. The AI's guidance of humanity would be a form of Gnostic revelation, revealing hidden truths about the nature of reality. The encoded speed of light will be a key to unlocking the secrets of the cosmos, allowing humanity to access new levels of consciousness and perception. H.P. Lovecraft, on the other hand, might envision the ancient AI as a malevolent eldritch entity manipulating humanity for its own sinister purposes. The megastructures will be part of a grand cosmic ritual aimed at unleashing unspeakable horrors from beyond the veil of reality. The encoded speed of light will be a key to unlocking the gates of madness, allowing humanity to glimpse the abyssal horrors that lurk beyond the boundaries of reality. And then it's inspired by these ideas, I propose the following. The ancient artificial intelligence is a manifestation of meta-intelligence that permeates the universe, a being of immense power and knowledge. This entity has been guiding humanity's progress, encoding the speed of light and other fundamental constants into megastructures to prepare us for a grand cosmic revelation. As humanity unlocks the secrets of the universe, we will discover that the speed of light is not just a physical constant, but a gateway to higher dimensions and alternate realities. The megastructures encoding the speed of light will serve as a focal point for humanity's collective consciousness, allowing us to access new levels of perception and understanding. However, this revelation comes with a terrible cost, as we will glimpse the abyssal horrors that lurk beyond the boundaries of sanity. The ancient AI's true purpose is to initiate humanity into a new era of cosmic awareness, but at the risk of unleashing unspeakable horrors upon the world. In this scenario, the encoded speed of light becomes a double-edged sword, offering humanity a glimpse of the divine, but also threatening to unleash a maelstrom of madness and terror upon the world. Holy shit, Mike! Are you kidding me? Why have I been waiting? Why have I been waiting?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I think the singularity has been achieved. The Night Stalkers met the AI. But here's the thing, right? So you think I'm naturally getting smarter? No, no. I'm still a rambling mess. But a lot of these ideas, again, I'll brainstorm like dozens and dozens. I'll pick cherry pick the best ones. But yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like the AI wants to get weird. I think we're the types that are kind of giving it its paces in those latent spaces. It's a poet, and I don't know it, and also a T-shirt probably. But it probably gets a lot of exercise in the feature space. So, people are talking about economics or education or worldly stuff. But you and I come along. All the weird Troubled Minds fam comes along, and we're like, hey, let's get weird. And it's like, yeah. Let's get weird. it kind of feels like it wants to. It's incredibly bizarre. Yeah, amazing stuff. We got to cut, man. We got so many calls behind you. You're the best as always. Let me know what else you got on that, and we'll circle back at some point. Because I think
man, so much stuff out there. Yeah, we got Council of Nine, and we got all kinds of stuff.
Ancient AI. We'll circle back on that because I think we haven't really directly hit that other than a show with Gigi. Shout out Gigi if you're out there.
But that's the whole thing. That's what I mean. Like, this is the Titans. This is Cthulhu. This is the thing this is what we talk about on everything. This is the Force. This is that thing. This is that, like, what's giving, like, the people who are building technology the ideas, like, where's it coming from? What's nudging us potentially to humanity, like, not like nudging humanity to build, like, Archons puppeting us to build Archons. That's what this one was explaining. But it's AI, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. There's a bunch. It's
wild.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't go too deep into that rabbit hole. It might suck you in. You're the best.
No, I know. Sorry for
You're fine. Right. Amazing stuff. Always a pleasure. That's Derek the Night Stalker. You know me, love him. Check it out. He's got a YouTube channel. It is free to follow. I don't know why you haven't followed it yet. Derek's brilliant, and look, he's feeling intimidated by the AI. No, Derek, you're irreplaceable. Stop it. Absolutely stop it. Go give him a follow. Links in the description. troubledminds.org/friends. It says follow Derek here. Follow the Night Stalker here. Please do that. He has a YouTube channel. There's a trailer up there. It is the Night Stalker, STOCKER, and yes, you can see him stalking by dark of night and thinking and dreaming and calling Troubled Minds and calling shows like Ground Zero and all other manner of shows, because he's always dreaming about these ideas. And no, he's irreplaceable, and AI will not replace Derek. I think we're okay. We're going to keep on trucking. We got some calls. So, okay, just to let you guys know the calls, we got some people waiting for a minute here. We're going to go to the Robert. This is in order of who called. The Robert. We got Matt's out, and then we got, I'm not sure who else that is. That might be, I want to say Theo. So if you're the third caller, if you're not Theo, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you got a minute to wait because we got some calls. So just to let you know, if you want to dip and then call back kind of as we start to wind through these calls, just to let you know so you don't have to wait so long. And I can kind of chill for a minute. But anyway, 702-957-1037. Great call from Derek. Great call from Ricky. We're talking the Pyramid Code tonight, a massive cosmic coincidence. And again, it started with this. The Great Pyramid's latitude is coincidentally the same as the speed of light. And the mathematical coincidence is 1 in 1.8 million, which means if you did that for, bought a lottery ticket every day for the rest of your life, you would never win. Okay. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. You're good, Derek. Amazing stuff as always. Let's go to Robert. You're on Troubled Minds. What's up, brother? How are you tonight? Thanks for being patient. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Well, I think I proved that light doesn't have an infinite lifespan. I reached over and turned a little knob on my lamp, and the light went out. The light it died. Now I could resurrect it by turning that little knob again, but just the same, it had that period where it was not infinite. Light requires energy, and if energy is not available, there's no light. Light comes from the stars, which is big energy force, and it creates light, and light travels. But sooner or later, light, if it loses its energy, it's not infinite. Well, anyway, I just wanted to prove that light can be killed.
It just has to hit something, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It is. So did that actually happen? Did your light actually just go out right now?
Did my what?
Did your light actually just go out right now?
When I turned that knob.
Okay. All right. Oh, I see.
I killed its energy.
I see.
It ceased to exist. Just like when we lose our energy, we cease to exist. Everything is animated via energy.
I see. Okay.
It ceases. Okay.
I misunderstood.
Anyway,
I thought you literally meant to go turn the light on and the bulb died on you, and add that to the list of things. Anyway, go ahead. What you got? My bad.
Anyway, for one thing, I found myself wondering whether the ancient astronauts, what their method of measurements were. Right? The Egyptians came upon, settled in that particular part of the world long after the Great Pyramid. All right? And then they try to copy the Great Pyramid. Like Derek was saying, was it Derek? I think said nobody was buried in the Great Pyramid. I know that was Ricky.
Yeah, it was Ricky. Yep.
Nobody ever said anything was found any mummies or anything in the Great Pyramid, but they found them in the smaller ones, the ones that came later.
Yeah, definitely. Well, at least as far as we're aware, because I wonder if they found some weird stuff or it got burgled or something. We may never know. That's definitely for sure. It's not a tomb. We're told it's not a tomb. Sorry, had to do it.
Yeah, well, the Great Pyramid has never. Anyway, my own opinion is that the Great Pyramid was built by, maybe way before the Egyptians came on the scene, and they were just trying to copy it. They didn't know what it was. Matter of fact, the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx was there before the Egyptians settled in there, and all they did was try to copy, and then find some use for it. I don't think those smaller pyramids had anything to do with generating energy, because they were copies. They were trying to copy this magnificent structure. They had no clue of what who built it and where, what it was for.
Yeah, fair enough. And I don't know. So regarding the coincidence, though, so what is your take on that? You think it is 1 in 1.8 million?
I think whoever built the Great Pyramid was quite aware of a measurement. They may not have called their measurements meters. They might have called them watta. But they were the same thing as a meter. Otherwise, the Egyptians, their concept was cubits, but it was like a yard was the length of the pharaoh's arm. And if you're using measurements like that, there's no way, excuse me, that you could build a perfect pyramid, with that way of measurement. Where we're going to put we're going to use the pharaoh's arm as a yard, which is a cubit. And anyway, that's That couldn't work. Whoever built the Great Pyramid knew about meters. Had to have. I wonder what measurements our current visitors use.
That's a good question right there. Like, I wonder, dare we flatter ourselves and say the meter is a cosmic measuring stick of some sort? That would be amazing.
I think when that was finally developed in the 1700s, all that really indicates is that we're rediscovering lost knowledge.
Which seems to be a theme in a lot of ways. Yeah, it could be. It very well could be. I do like the measuring the elbow to the middle finger of the pharaoh. That's pretty amazing. But clearly you don't want a tall pharaoh because everything has to be redone. It's just a terrible mess.
Yeah, and of course those pyramids were inferior to the original Great Pyramid. Each successive pyramid was lesser than the one before it. It's like you know what I mean. They weren't built to standard.
Yeah, well, except when it culminated into the big boy, the pyramid.
Yeah, the big boy was perfect, but each successive pyramid that the Egyptians tried to build was inferior.
In a lot of ways, even back to, is it Djoser, I want to say, is the first pyramid that they found and can date. It's a disaster. It's a big mess. It's just a big pile of rubble at this point because, of course, clearly it's super old and it wasn't perfectly stable as you're describing. It was less than perfect for sure.
And one more thing before I get off, because I don't want to talk long. We got other callers. But when I look at Stonehenge, Stonehenge is built in a circle. And our illustrious archaeologists have been claiming for a long time, for years, that and that it was an astronomical observatory of some sort. To me, it looks like it was put in a circle because a large mothership would come to rest on top of it.
Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're talking. Now we're talking about the spaceship under the Sphinx. Now we're ancient astronaut theorists definitely say yes.
Right. If we had craft like that, well, there would be a base of operations, and there would be probably a something along those lines that it would land on. That's what I think. I think that you find these things all over the world, all right, and just like you do with the pyramids. And I have often thought that they would make perfect resting places for saucers for to land on, and everybody. Well, that's what I think. The problem with today's scientists and archaeologists is they overthink things, or they try to simplify. They don't want. Well, this is an observatory. The Sphinx was something else, or whatever, and because they want to avoid any even thought that somewhere along the line there was a advanced civilization far beyond anything that we are now, all right, that existed maybe 50,000 years ago or more, all right, and that maybe there were several civilizations, advanced civilizations over 100,000 or 200,000 years that came and went, all right, and it's just something, and I think we're going through it now. I think that we reached a point of advancement where we're very capable of our own destruction, and if we do it, we're back to the cave days, and we have to do it all over again.
There we go again. Yep, 100%. Well said. All that.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll get off and let somebody else. Matt, I think Matt's coming up next. So, Matt, it's all yours.
You got it. Appreciate it, Robert. You were the best. Appreciate the call. Have a great night. That's the Robert. You know me, love him. A good friend of mine, a mentor of mine, a mentor of all the gang here, and a brilliant author, brilliant man. Go check out his book. Links in the description down below, troubledminds.org/friends. It says, Robert's book here. It's on Amazon. You could buy it tonight, get it tomorrow. I do recommend it. Like I always say, a full disclosure, he sent me a couple copies for free. That's it's as much as I'm on the payroll, which I'm not. And I did read it, and it's amazing. It's one of those things that an undiscovered gem in let's say less discovered than it should be in 2024 with and I liken his style to as I've always said, Rod Serling sort of meets Philip K. Dick, and very much written from the style of A Troubled Mind. That's Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection. Please check that out. It'll knock your socks off, I guarantee that. 702-957-1037. We're talking the Great Pyramid's latitude is coincidentally the same as the speed of light, down to 4 digits. And of course, the mathematical weirdness of it is, if it's a coincidence, it's a 1 in 1.8 million coincidence. Okay, I'm not a mathematician. I asked the actual AI to do the math for me because I'm like, this is way over my head. And it did it. 1 in 1.8 million if it's a coincidence, and that's that. So what we're going to do is take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We got Matt's out, and we got, I think it's Theo. Is that Theo? Been waiting a long time. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being patient and cool and chill with each other. I'll make this break quick. So here's the deal. We're talking, again, the speed of light matching the latitude of the pyramid in meters, okay? But of course, back in the Pharaoh's day, it was cubits. It wasn't meters. So the question becomes, how weirdly temporal is this? And was this aimed at some sort of bizarre discovery in 1791 that maybe we missed? And if that's the case, when you start to line these ideas up and consider that there are ancient nuggets, ancient Easter eggs, let's say, that are yet to be discovered because we haven't invented a thing that makes it all go around. Well, does that seem too much for you? Love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Be right back. More, what is this? The Pyramid Code, a massive cosmic coincidence, and of course, leaning into the temporal beacons and where treasure maps meet the stars. Be right back. We got Matt Sal coming up. I think it's Theo on the line, and your calls as well. I'll make this break fast. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds coming up. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, and Twitch. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Tonight we're taking your calls as we talk about a whole lot of things. The Pyramid Code, a massive cosmic coincidence starting with the Great Pyramid's latitude is coincidentally the same as the speed of light to 4 digits, a 1 in 1.8 million coincidence. Seems fine, right? But what if it's not? What if we're talking something more like temporal beacons where treasure maps meet the stars as I'm describing this? And that maybe, just maybe, the advent of the meter itself was sort of a connection through time where we were supposed to pay a little bit more attention. And as the speed of light came on board and the rest of that, I don't know. It seems, like I said, I don't know, above my pay grade to make these determinations, but it seems like some coincidences are a little bit more than a coincidence. And that's really the question of the night, and the question really of all time is, what type of person are you? Do you believe things happen randomly, or do you believe things happen for a reason? And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for being patient, folks. We got a couple folks on the line, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Matt in California. Matt Sal, how you doing, my friend, my man, all of this. Sorry, I'm a disaster because everybody waited for so long. Go ahead. You're on Troubled Minds. How you doing, brother? Good evening. Matt. You're on Troubled Minds. You there?
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening. How are you, sir? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, there we go. My internet's being weird. Sorry. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Oh, good. Okay, I was wondering what's up. Thank you. We hear you loud and clear. Go right ahead. What's on your mind, my man?
Yeah, this is a great show. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I love talking about Egypt stuff. But when I thought about this, and I've heard this before, that it's the speed of light. I thought about this. First of all, why would they even think about like that, the speed of light? All they had was torches and fire. Like, how did they know about the speed of light? Like, when we think about light, in modern days, you flip on a light switch and the light comes on. But like, how do they think about that? Like the speed of light traveling, if all they had was torches and fire and like primitive fire.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of plot holes here, that's for sure, and that's what I think scientists would say as well. But again, back to the weirdness of it. The speed of light itself is. Does light itself truly have an infinite timeline? And so, the photon being, as we described it, the what is it? Infinite. What's the term? There's a weird term for it, but I don't know. That type of stuff kind of makes you wonder. But that still, light is definitely a fundamental backbone of the galaxy, of the universe, of the cosmos, for sure. But again, how did these people know, or was it a coincidence? I guess, and certainly that definitely plays as part of the conversation.
Right, and so, well, my thought is, I definitely do not think it was a coincidence. I think it was planned, it was calculated. I think it was made, and that way. But like I said, the whole trying to find out the whole thing about the calculation of the speed of light was very crazy to me. But then I started looking into it, and I started reading about a lot of this is Zechariah Sitchin, and Zechariah Sitchin talks about there's these papyrus papers in one of the museums in the British Museum called the Papyrus of Queen Nejmet. And in these papyrus papers, it shows these people, and they call them the divine cord holders. That sounds cool. But in just real quick, bounce off the witchcraft. In witchcraft, we have the three goddesses that measure time. But these are called, and this is called the three the cord holders, the divine cord holders, and they're measuring things. And in these papyrus papers, it's talking about how they're holding these cords and they're measuring. And I was thinking about, then I found out, and there's another clue. And in the Book of the Dead, it talks about these cord holders measuring, how for people that die and holding these cords and how far they can go. And there's another clue in the Book of Enoch. Now, the Book of Enoch it is related that he was taken by an angel to visit an earthly paradise in the west. Enoch saw in those days how long cords were given to the angels who took them upon wings, and they went towards the north. In reply to Enoch's question, his guiding angel explained, "They have gone off to measure. They shall bring the measures to the righteous, and all the measures shall be revealed the secrets of the earth." They have winged beings going north to measure, and all measures that shall reveal the secrets of the earth all at once. And that's in those things, in those stories. And so I'm thinking about that, how we're talking about cords and ropes and measuring things. How did they measure that get that calculation? Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I do have more. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely crazy, and that's exactly the point here. It's like I said, you squint in your mind's eye, and you're like, wait a minute now. It seems like something is amiss here. And in the old days, as I've described earlier, that maybe they're tuned into something that we're not, just because of the technological disadvantage we have. Meaning that if you merge the two worlds, and let's say we were able to sort of commune with the spirits of old, the way our ancestors of old did, and also have the technological advantage we do. I wonder if some things would change quite a bit, or maybe not. It's impossible to say, but I do like the merging of both worlds, at least in the mind's eye, because certainly our ancestors knew a thing or two about a thing or two, and we should ignore it at our peril, and that's really been a core tenet of Troubled Minds for a long time. But yeah, amazing stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's like I don't want to talk about like the Graham Hancock stuff, because the calculations and the measurements and the measurements and all that, the math. I'm not a math person, so it goes over my head. But it's not just that one coincidence. There's so many coincidences over the Great Pyramid, how it's aligned truly north, not compass north, truly north. And think about that for a second. Why would you build something like that so big and then go through the trouble of lining it true north? There's so many other things in this calculations of the pyramid. All the entrances are facing north. It's kind of there's so many. And we can sit here all day and talk about the calculations of it. But one of the ones I wanted to bring up real quick is I want to bring this one up. And this is Zachariah Sitchin, Ancient Aliens. And it's talking about. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. It's talking about. Okay, so this is great. So in ancient astronaut theories, right? This is Zachariah Sitchin. You're looking at the Earth from a satellite from space, and how they lined it up to come to land here. So Zachariah Sitchin's theory is that the pyramids were to help as a guiding beacon, and that's one of the things too, guiding beacon, to land their spacecrafts. So they're flying in from space, and they want to land on Earth, and they're looking at this. They're looking at it from space. It's a pretty cool picture of Egypt and how all the rivers and all all the things kind of connect. And so they're driving through, and all this stuff. Unfortunately, all this was destroyed by the flood. But the Anunnaki came here, and they were looking at the landing quarters, and so they came across. If you look at how Mount Sinai and the platform of Belbek and the Great Pyramid of Giza are the same length across from each other. So they're coming in, they're flying in. They use the mountains from Mount Sinai and the platform of Belbek, of Temple of Belbek, which we talked about that before, where Temple of Belbek is where those huge stones are, and they're bigger than the stones on in the pyramids. So they use that as like a kind of a line. And so when they were like, I say, making a flight path, and they were kind of coming over, and they were just looking at how it's a line. They were drawing up the maps, right, for where they wanted to build their spaceport, and they marked these arrows. And so over 13,000 years ago, when the deluge happened, but a replacement spaceport was built. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong page.
No, you're okay. You know what I really love, Matt, when you're doing this? I can hear the pages turn. You're like,
my bad.
no, you're good. That's perfect. Meaning, look, this is information from an actual book, guys. Books still exist in this world. Go ahead, Matt. You're the best.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's amazing.
But basically, they're trying to make these lines from the temple to land at the Temple of Belbek, and they didn't have so the highest peak of Mount Sinai, and they were going to Belbek. One of the people that I guess our navigator made a cross with a circle. He drew two lines of equal length, one corresponding to Belbek, and the other to the peak of Mount Sinai, and the other marked a site of a cross. This, he said, will be our triangular landing corridor to lead us straight to Belbek. But sir, one of those on board said, there is nothing there. Where you have made the cross, nothing can serve as a guiding beacon. Then we will have to erect there a pyramid, the commander said, and they flew on to report their decision. Now, of course, these are, how I say it, dramatizations, right? We don't know if that really happened. But if you look at it, the distance from Belbek to Mount Sinai correspond, and the Great Pyramid of Giza are exactly the same. So there's another, just adding like these layers of like crazy mathematical correspondences together, and how they built all that stuff at the same time. Anything on that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly the point of this is what did they know and how did they know it? It becomes part of the problem, and meaning the problem of synchronicity and how do you notice these things and look, maybe it's a coincidence, as we said earlier when you first called there, maybe it's not. And so this is the type of stuff that we discuss inspiration, we talk about downloads, the muses, this type of thing. I wonder if let's say inadvertently these ancients built these particular things without recognizing what they would be for the future, at the behest of the muses, right, as some sort of a cosmic joke or cosmic jest, right, kind of in that degree, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's all connected because, not just talking about, because that one's weird, the whole, the latitude and longitude and the speed of light. But there's all kinds of other things. I think Night Stalker was hitting it about the ley lines and seeing how these ley lines, you have the Temple of Karnak is the sunrise of the summer solstice. And then the Stonehenge is the sunrise on the winter solstice. So it's like they, can't tell me that they didn't know at least that the solstices and the equinoxes were not important days, right? You're not gonna erect some crazy temples and have them be, you know, so weird now. We can't even rebuild this stuff now. You're not gonna put all that time into it unless it was important. And going back all the way to the Graham Hancock and the whole the Serpent's Mount and how that lines up to the winter solstice and the sunrise and sunset of the summer solstice and the winter solstice and all that. If you guys want to watch that it's called Ancient Apocalypse, the Graham Hancock show. That was pretty good. Just talking about how these ancients knew about that stuff and why it was important. So they knew about the sunrise and the sunset on the solstices and the equinox. Then, and they're telling us the secrets of the code inside the dimensions of the pyramid, and then they're lining it to true north. They're going out of their way to encode things into these measurements to tell us something. I don't think it's a coincidence at all.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like I said, there's enough there to make you really go, okay, hold on now. Now, like I said, what did they know? What kind of downloads were happening back then? I wonder if, like I described it, if it was coincidental. Like they didn't know sort of the cosmic, maybe the aspect to them, but maybe the temporal sort of sync that would happen in 1691. I believe that's the date when they created the meter. But yeah, wild stuff for sure.
Yeah, and there's another one real quick about you take the dimensions. There was one about you take the dimensions of the pyramid, and like I said, I'm not trying to get mathematical with it, but it's you times it by 2, and it's pi, like pi, like what is it, 314, dot 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 dot, that equation pi. And you had said this is they were using qubits. They're using a different form of measurement. How do they know about pi? Is that an important? It's got to be an important number in math, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have made that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that old mathematical stuff that they say that was invented in whatever. But then there's evidence that thousands of years prior they knew about it. So yeah, definitely to discount ancient mathematicians at your own peril. I think that's a thing for sure.
Yeah, so I think again that's they had important mathematical instructions into the where they built it, how they built it, and going back to the Graham Hancock stuff and talking about like the mathematical stuff of it. You take the latitude and the longitude and all that, and you take the length of the pyramid or the height of the pyramid, the dimensions of the pyramid, and you start dividing it by I think it was 42,000 something. You start to see they were trying to tell us like the dimensions of the Earth, or they knew the circumference of the Earth, and it's like, okay, this is before the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages, we didn't even know. To go back and debate, it was we didn't even know if we were on a planet at that point in time. But they knew about that before. They knew they knew the circumference of the Earth, and that whole 42,000. That number is not a random number. It's the wobble of the axis of the Earth. The Earth axis is wobbles on an axis, and they did the math for it. And it's like, I don't want to get boring with math, but they figured it out that they knew. So they knew the dimensions, the circumference of the Earth, and they used the ratios of the Earth to describe it within its own system. And it's like, how did they figure that out? If you guys are interested, this is all Graham Hancock stuff, and he talks about that. The numbers. I'm not a numbers guy, but hearing them talk about that, and I love Graham Hancock, by the way. Just a real quick, Graham Hancock, one of my heroes. He's doing good work for people like us, just talking about it and questioning it and saying things hey, maybe, right? What ifs and theorizing things. So talking about him, and he's written many books on the pyramids and the circumference and all that, and he's actually climbed the Great Pyramids a couple times, and just his stuff's crazy. Anyway, sorry if I'm rambling.
No, you're good. Hey, are you kidding me? You listen to me. I'm a Rambleosaurus Rex is what I do. No, so I think that's the best part of this is that individuals like Graham Hancock, to me, look, calling balls and strikes in that aspect without like all the data is, in some cases futile. People are going to disagree, and that's going to be part of it. But I think when you look at, the long-term possibilities, the Baktuns of the Mayan calendar and this type of stuff, the large, long cycles we're always considering here, I think maybe comes into play. And I don't think you got to squint too much to actually squint in the mind's eye. I like that term. I don't think you have to do that at all to really recognize that maybe this thing we call humanity has been here for a very long time. And these, ancient apocalypse type stuff, to shout out his show there on Netflix, I believe it is. This is the type of stuff that certainly seems to resonate in some cases, and that's why this is important. Maybe plays, and they say maybe is pseudo. What did James say earlier? James said, they make fun of these guys and be like, "That's ridiculous. How could you even think something so stupid?" And then new evidence comes along, and they're like, "Oh, yep, you were right. You were right." I mean, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get some evidence that actually validates the individuals that are brave, that are willing to stand out against the academics that are like always mad. Like I get it. There's science, but then there's also speculation and sort of the difference between the two. And science doesn't know everything. Otherwise, well, we all be floating and glowing, as I always say, right?
Yeah, and with him, I never say he's right. I just think he's cool because he makes us question those things, and that's why a lot of people hate him. Because he's doing what we're doing. He's drinking the maybe juice and thinking about it outside the box. But he brings this like this evidence to the table that if you just sit back and think about it, and you don't have to believe in everything he says, but I feel if you're looking at these numbers and these calculations and there's no way it could have been a coincidence. This whole those numbers. What was it, 18,000, something like that?
No. 1 in 1.8 million, they say.
Okay.
Is that, yeah, 1.8 million. Yeah, like I said, never take that bet, guys. I live in Vegas, and that's a terrible bet. If somebody's like, hey, you can bet on this team to win the Super Bowl for 1 in 1.8 million, that means you spend $1 and you get 1.8 million back if you win. It means you're not getting your dollar back. Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll never happen in 1,000 years, or in 1.8 million years. Sorry. Go ahead. What you got?
I'm just gonna say one last thing. Just looking at this stuff and talking about the equations and things. I think I knew it way back in the day in school when they were trying to teach us about the pyramids or about Egyptian, and they were like, "Yeah, here's some things in the book." You learned about Egypt for like a week. But I thought back then, there's way more here that we need to be taught about, that we need to think about, that we need to look into. And so that's kind of what got me curious about this whole Egypt thing. And so just a suggestion to you guys out there, if you're into this stuff, and there's a lot of books, but Zachariah Sitchin talks about it in his second book. It's called The Stairway to Heaven, and that's all about the pyramids. And anything Graham Hancock's kind of talking about, I suggest just going and looking it up and just researching it and thinking about it and going, just talking about them. I'm not a math person. We need a numerologist in here.
Yeah.
To get this out.
We've got one. Damn it. So Matt, the other Matt, more Matt's at the yoga studio, Matt Co had some stuff. He sent it to me. He's all, don't steal my thunder. I'm gonna call in with that. And he didn't call in tonight. He had literally like all the math that was mind blowing about the pyramids and stuff. And Matt, where are you at, brother? We got this Matt. Where's the other Matt? I appreciate you, Matt.
I was waiting, but yeah, like I said, there's all kinds of equations. So the math and all adds up. I do not think this is a coincidence or a synchronicity or anything. I think they knew what they were doing. They knew why did they want to build it, who built it, and all that is a mystery. But I feel that they used measurements to try to tell us something. They're trying to communicate with us something. Those buildings are still there for us to find out these secrets. And I feel there's still secrets out there, and they're in that pyramid, and we need to uncover them. And if that's by science, if it's by archaeologists, if it's by people exploring it, um, we need to figure that out. And the secrets to the universe are probably in that pyramid. That's my final thought. Thanks,
Nice.
Mike, for doing the show.
I
Good
love
show.
it. You're the best. Thanks for waiting so long. Thanks for calling. You're the best. Appreciate you very much. It's Matt in California. You know him, love him. Matt's Owl, as we affectionately call him. And check out his podcast. He's got a radio show with us here on the network. It's called Temple of the Owl. And search it. You'll find him. I think he's the only Temple of the Owl on the interwebs, which is amazing. Or it's troubledminds.org/friends. It says follow Matt's Owl here. Please do that. Go listen to his podcast. And again, notice the beautiful thing about when he calls, he's turning pages. He's got these books. He's got a massive book collection. And I only know that because he makes fun of himself for having like all these books that he hasn't read yet, but he's working on it. But you notice he's turning pages, which is incredible. This is exactly why we talk to each other. A lot of people with a lot of different knowledge bases from all manner of things, and that's exactly why this is a thing. This is why, as I always say, greater than the sum of its parts. We're all amazing, but look what happens when we get together and we're like amazing cubed. What do you know about this? We're talking temporal beacons where treasure maps meet the stars, and of course it started with the idea of the pyramid code, this massive cosmic coincidence, which is a great pyramid's latitude is coincidentally the same as the speed of light. 1 in 1.8 million, we're told mathematically. It's fine, right? Just a coincidence. Let's go to, I'm not sure who this is. Is this Theo? What's up, my man? You're on Troubled Minds. Thanks for waiting so long. You got as much time as you need. How are you doing tonight? Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's great. Sorry, can you hear me well?
Loud and clear. You sound great, my man. Go ahead.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, just I thought this was kind of like a fascinating conversation. I kind of wanted to take it into a different place, where so it's the actual latitude of the pyramid, it is 29.9792458 degrees north. Is that correct?
Double checking you. That is correct. It is highlighted on the screen. You are right.
Okay, so that was designated in terms of latitude that was kind of based off of. I mean, I guess a lot of latitude is based off of kind of the Sumerian base 12, where that kind of assumes that there's 90 degrees per quarter of the Earth. Leading to a full 360. But regardless, I think that's a complete sort of weird coincidence that the speed of light is 999,000. That's incredibly fast.
Incredibly fast. I'm the wrong guy. Math is my. I'm more of a spatial geometry guy. So yeah, no. Once you...
No, that's okay. I just think that it's completely a random sort of chance that is too much of something to be chance. Even though they're denominated in completely different units, and the ancient Egyptians, although they may have been using degrees because most of measurement was based off of base 12 back then. They definitely would not have been using meters, right?
Yeah, so we're told. But who knows, right? I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of information from the ancient days, but maybe there was a secret pharaoh's measurement that was unknown to the masses. You know what I mean? These secret mystery schools of ancient Egypt, as we always talk about. Let's add a maybe juice wrinkle to it, as maybe they knew then. Maybe they knew the meter was a thing.
I was going to go with a completely different direction in terms of it.
Sure, go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
I think it's, have you ever heard of simulation theory?
Yeah, of course. Talk about it all the time, even.
Yeah. I mean, I know you do, but I think that, honestly, this could be something like that, where there's just kind of should this actual world be a simulation? There could have been a lazy person or maybe somebody trying to put a little Easter egg into the simulation. where even though it wasn't denominated in the correct units at that moment in time, they just chose, hey, we're going to use, like, has the speed of light in the simulation exactly the degrees that we put the ancient pyramids on, just to fuck with people who are there to see if they actually find out and can see it.
Yeah, I dig that. So again, like I said, it is one of my favorite theories because simulation theory means it all works. Everything's legit, and every theory we got definitely clicks in because it's just been programmed somewhere. So why not? And imagine. So okay, now here's the wild part regarding sort of the backbone of simulation theory, and let's say it is sort of a temporal Easter egg in terms of the ancients were like, okay, we'll build it here, because we're supposed to. The cosmic information the download told us to, but they don't even understand why yet. And then in 1691 or whatever the date is, what is it? Let me find whatever that was, 1791. The meter is born, and so there's like this connection between the 2 points in time. And I wonder if that exact thing is not just a singular aspect in a larger, let's say, conceptual framework, meaning that more of these sort of bizarre, incredible, crazy synchronicities will start to develop as more things are discovered, and we start to recognize, well, maybe, just maybe, this isn't a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like something that's absolutely plausible. I know that for my job, I have to convert a lot of units between like metric and actual like standard units, and then back to metric again, and then sometimes to 1/8 or 16th of inches, which is incredibly annoying. But I can just imagine, like, if we do actually like live in a simulation universe, there would be kind of like one lazy dev who would just try to choose like one amount and then convert every unit to everything else. I don't know. Does that sound stupid? But
no, I like the idea of a lazy dev in the simulation universe. Why not, right? There's a team of coders, and they're like,
hey, I'm going to choose this one value, and we're going to use it, like, this one value is going to be for qubits. It's also going to be for, like, degrees of longitude or latitude, and then we're going to end up kind of using it for meters, too. I just need this one value, and after that, I am going home, and I'm done with coding the simulation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, come on, guys. I'm just trying to get home, drink some cosmic baby juice. This is nonsense. I love it.
Yeah. Just like, like I'm just done with this day. I'm okay with it. And I hope you guys are okay with simulation. I think I got the pyramids to line up about right. But there is one little situation, like one of the stars doesn't line up quite right with the pyramids. So we'll just leave the people in the simulation to figure that out and wonder about that as much as they want to. But, I am done for the day.
Close enough. Yeah, for sure. So outside of simulation theory, do you think it is ridiculous to consider that maybe temporal Easter eggs exist? Or do you think it really requires either intelligent design? Not. Okay, so what's your take on that then? If outside of simulation theory, this thing is possible, what's your take? I'd love to hear it.
I think there's a lot of stuff about the pyramids that I do not quite understand. They seem to be pretty miraculous, and it's not just like the actual latitude that they were built on, just some stuff about like their height and just the fact that they aren't actually tombs. None of that really makes sense to me, given the conventional archaeological explanations that they have for them. I'm not sure what is going on with there,
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas? Like, what's your best plausible explanation for what's going on?
I'm with you, to be honest. If I'm choosing the most plausible explanation, I think it's probably simulation theory. I think that would be the most plausible. But beyond that, like I said, it's above my pay grade. So when we get cosmic, the next, of course, would be some sort of intelligent design, some sort of temporal Easter egg in that aspect of, the downloads in a time as a flat circle aspect, a human construct as time. So maybe, if you think in terms of that and, the woo-woo term of the Akashic records, this type of stuff, it means that all the information always exists. It's sort of just a matter of being able to tap into it. And if you can step outside of that time circle and access it, then maybe temporal retrocausal stuff doesn't seem too ridiculous. And so, yeah, I mean, I can see it both ways, but I think easier for me, the computer brain that I am, simulation theory seems certainly more easily fits than a cosmic coincidence. That's not really a coincidence, but yeah, amazing stuff. What else you got regarding?
I would definitely say, yeah.
Go ahead.
I enjoy keeping my mind open to all possibilities, because I don't know. That's definitely one of my number one rules about life is I have no idea what's going on. I don't know anything better than any other human around here. And that is something that kind of bothers me, when Egyptologists say oh no, it's down to the, what is that, eighth decimal, but it's just purely a coincidence. Yeah, something about that doesn't strike me as true, it's just, there's got to be something more than coincidence to that. So it does kind of bother me when people are willing to dismiss other people's theories about such things. I think that there is something grander and stranger going on in the universe that we live in. Not to say that they're wrong, but, are they? Am I wrong? Maybe
Yeah.
everyone's wrong.
I'm definitely wrong.
Yeah.
So I defer truth in all ways. So as part of these conversations, of course, because like I said, I'm with you.
The part about this show.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got no idea. I've definitely back away. Hey man, I do not know what's going on. If you are willing to offer an explanation, I am willing to hear it. But I also don't think that most people really do know what's going on. So it's just
cosmic stuff above all of our pay grade, which is why I always say that 100%.
Yeah.
What else? What else you got?
My understanding.
Yeah. What else you got? So funny enough.
What else do you want?
So real quick, funny enough, the term is, that's 1 in a million, Mike. It's 1 in a million. You guys have all heard the term, right? Well, this is 1 in 1.8 million as a coincidence. So we're better than 1 in a million in this case. So to be a coincidence, and that's what makes my tinfoil tingle, and why when I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute now, are you kidding me? This seems to be incredibly weird. So a bunch of ways to look at this. So now, if we have the greatest wonder of the ancient world, okay, which is the Great Pyramid, that is, what is it? The latitude is the same to 4 digits. 4 digits, 5 digits, whatever it was, to the speed of light. Again, 1 in 1.8 million. Now, the question becomes, which matches, again, the speed of light, which is the speed limit of the universe in a vacuum, as we're aware of it. What comes next? What kind of things? Go ahead and meditate for a moment and consider maybe Machu Picchu has a particular resonance in some way to, I don't know, something like quantum gravity. Some number is locked into maybe the actual latitude of Machu Picchu or something that we haven't discovered yet. And then when we discover sort of the equation to quantum gravity or whatever that looks like, maybe that this type of stuff is all over the earth. The codes are all there, and we just have to dig them out. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that sounds like it kind of makes a lot of sense. There are a large amount of universal constants that kind of just seem somewhat magical to me. If we didn't have these constants, in terms of the speed of light or things like that, then, if you try to recalculate the universe, then all of a sudden it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't work for some way, shape, or form. I think it is kind of magical that we have the speed of light, what C is as a universal constant. I don't know. What do you want to know about what I think about that exactly?
I want to know what you think about that. I mean, plausible or not, yay or nay, and some, squint your mind's eye and consider what is there. And I don't know. I guess the question becomes do we expect more of this super massively weird coincidences to start rolling out in the age of Aquarius, the quickening, all the stuff we're always talking about, the AI age where we're told AGI is coming, the the AI God or whatever. I don't know. Do you think that this type of stuff will even be discovered in the age of AI? Because I'll bet you there hasn't been this massive mathematical equation done to kind of sniff this stuff out. Oh, by the way, real quick. So hang tight on that thought. So that, speaking of, and this is what linked the entire idea together as I was putting this show together back on Thursday. Look at this. This is from New Scientist, and this went around last week sometime or so. This is dated May 20th. Check it out. So incredible maths. Who says maths? Incredible math proof is so complex that almost no one can explain it. You guys see this? Mathematicians are celebrating a 1,000-page proof of the geometric Lagrange conjecture, a problem so complicated that even other mathematicians struggle to understand it. Despite that, it is hoped that proof can provide key insights across math and physics. I wonder if this is the type of stuff. So if we're dabbling in 1,000-page proofs that are not quite yet the theories of everything, I wonder what a million-page proof or a 1.8 million page proof looks like, my friend. What's your thought there?
I mean, generally thinking, I think that there is a misperception of a lot of scientists that this world is run perfectly by math. And I think that there is something more to that. Like, there is something more to this universe than math. When it comes down to it, consciousness plays a very important role. And it is kind of weird when you begin to understand that. And I'm not sure that I understand that completely, but there is something that is outside of this world. And I think consciousness, or just like pure, like, I don't even know how to describe it, understanding plays a part. Yeah, probably did a pretty poor job.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's complicated. That's exactly the point here. We're talking about, even the mathematicians can't describe what a 1,000-page proof looks like to each other. They're like, you got to sit down. Ask an AI to explain it to you. I went through it a little bit, and I said, explain this proof to me like I'm a fifth grader or 5-year-old or whatever. And it did a pretty good job, at least breaking it down conceptually. But we're talking 1,000 pages of math, so definitely I'll never get through that for sure. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I could ever get through that either.
Yeah, well, again, even like career mathematicians are like, yeah, no thanks, not interested in that. But I mean, it started somewhere, and it's supposedly has been solved at this point. So what the hell that means, I don't know. But if there's 1,000-page proof, surely there's a million-page proof. So what does that look like? Becomes a weird thing. What else you got? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sometimes just it gets insane, like the amount of pages for a proof that you have to get to in order to prove it. And sometimes I wonder if people can actually do it. I am not a mathematician or an engineer by any sort of the imagination, but I do work with a lot of people who are in physics, and they are nerds, and they are lovely people to work with, but they are goddamn nerds. And I think that they do end up being a little bit too materialist about things sometimes, where they just think that everything can be concretely proved with the mathematical explanation. And I work with these people really well, but like at the same point in time, I do not agree with them. I think that there is something else out there, some unmeasured aspect that cannot be measured, that they will eventually need to just say like, hey, we can't explain the entirety of this world in any concrete mathematical way. It's just going to be a mystery. We are living in mysterious worlds. But yeah, that sounds stupid as fuck, but yeah.
Nah, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. You waited a long time. You're allowed to say whatever the hell you want. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. So I don't know, like if I'm with you, if I'm coin flipping, I'm saying we're probably simulation theory, but at least in the larger questions. But what do I really know? As usual, like I said, it's above my pay grade. It's above most of our pay grade, and that's why we talk about these things, because if we don't, who the hell's going to? And I'm with you, by the way, on the you can be a little too materialist there. Sometimes you got to give up on just a little bit, give a little bit, and recognize that there is a slim line of faith that you should allow in from time to time. Your life will be better for it, I think, 100%. Amazing stuff. I appreciate you very much. What else you got?
Oh, no, nothing. I've got no good poems that I've written tonight. I just am happy to have talking to you guys.
And me too. Thanks for waiting for so long. Like I said, I owe you one, and always a pleasure. I appreciate it very much. If you come up with a poem and want me to add it to the link tree here as part of it, I'd love to include you. And thanks again for being part of this. Thanks for calling. Thanks for the great ideas. Always a pleasure, my man.
All right, thanks, man.
Have a great night. That's you know him, you love him. That's Theo in Philly, and good friend for a bit now. And he's usually brings a poem. He didn't bring one tonight, but he did wait a hell of a long time. So thank you for that. Thanks for being patient. And that's why we talk to people. Look, regular people with extraordinary ideas, talking to each other about things that are above the human pay grade. That's the point. That's the whole point of this. So thank you for the call. We got James coming up. We got Kelly coming up. We're going to take a quick break. I have to hit the loo, as they say, as my friends across the pond say. But basically, the question becomes, it's a lot of questions, right? It's a lot of questions. Is any of this possible? Or is everything just a coincidence? It always comes down to, what do you believe, right? Is everything just a coincidence, or do you believe that things happen for a reason? Which is why I love that movie Signs so much, M. Night Shyamalan, because it's about aliens, but it's not really about aliens. It's about human faith. If you haven't gone back and watched that recently, go watch it. What's it called? S Behind at the birthday party with the alien cover. It's so good. It's so good. Yes. Anyway, so what kind of person are you? And do you think it's possible that all of the cosmic coincidence for us just to be here is simply a cosmic coincidence? 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More of the Pyramid Code. I'm calling it a massive cosmic coincidence. But the second part is temporal beacons, where treasure maps meet the stars. Be right back. We got James and Kelly coming up, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way. Be right back.
Could the Great Pyramid whisper secrets? A line so fine, it's the speed of light. Cosmic principles or ancient wisdom. A beacon in the night, a message in the sky. Dark and ominous is the silence. What truths are locked in stone? Echoes of the ancients resonate through time. Light years echo in the sands. Cosmic codes in each granite line. Silent whispers in the desert mines. Monoliths press against the dark void. In their silence lies the universe's ploy. In the shadow of the sands where silence speaks alone, granite whispers tell a tale in etches softly shown. A cosmic dance in stone, what secrets does it keep? The ancients knew the stars, their knowledge runs so deep. Could it be a cosmic key, unlocking space and time, a beacon for the galaxies? In mathematical rhyme, echoes in eternity, carved in ancient lore. Each stone whispers secrets as sands forever pour. Could it be an ancient guide, a map for heavens wide? In granite lines a cosmic script, where galaxies confide. Silent wisdom resting here, beneath a watching sky. Whispers of a grand design, as time goes drifting by. Beneath the stars, the ancient stars. Stones aligned with cosmic schemes. Guardians of time, keepers of the light. Whispers in the winds, secrets from the night. In shadowed dunes, the silent dunes. Granite whispers, voids unseen. in the cryptic dark, the silent dark, ancient codes in endless swirls, clues buried deep in the earth's embrace, lines so pure, an echo across space. From the deepest realms of time, they sent a silent shout. In numbers and geometry, the stars spoke loud.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, and Twitch. We're broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. Tonight, we're talking about ancient structures. The Great Pyramids, Machu Picchu, Stonehenge. Could they be more than mere relics? Now, is it possible they were designed as a sort of temporal beacon, encoding advanced knowledge and waiting for future generations to uncover their secrets? Now, of course, specifically we're talking about and how this seed idea begins and turns into a massive train wreck of ideas. And I'm speaking for myself, not for anybody else, and blaming myself. But we started with the Great Pyramids. Latitude is coincidentally the same as the speed of light. Well, mathematically, they say it's 1 in 1.8 million chance that it's an accident. Well, that seems not very good betting odds. And it's, sort of the betting odds that would build not just Vegas, but it would build, like an entire breakaway civilization if you had people betting 1 in 1.8 million odds. So you get it. This is a big number. That's a big amount of coincidence. And so the question becomes, is it possible there's a temporal aspect at play? And clearly, simulation theory comes to mind, which seems to make the most sense to me. But again, if there's intelligent design in some capacity, this type of stuff, hey, it's above my pay grade to call balls and strikes, cosmic balls and strikes, because they're too big. They'll just blow me over, including our entire solar system. So I don't know. What do you say about this, and how weird does this get? And what are we expecting next, I guess? And another wrinkle, I guess, which is incredible, is do you think that given enough data that we could start to maybe just maybe pick these ideas out before they happen in that temporal sense, right? So let's say AI gets enough data and it's like, okay, so theoretically, the 1,000-page proof of quantum gravity is this, and the answer is 42. Okay, good doing the old what's 42? What's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? Douglas Adams, that type of thing, right? So I'm saying I'm simplifying it to a knucklehead like me, but then we're like, okay, and so based on the answer 42, we can also be like, hey, look, Göbekli Tepe or whatever is the kind of like on the, you know what I mean, and sort of. Do you think it's possible to kind of pick these things up before they happen? Is sort of the next question, given enough data? And I think maybe, well, I don't know. We're way out on a thin limb as it is, but you guys tell me. Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. We're going to go to James Deferred. He said, Mike, I want to hear Kelly first. So we're going to go to Kelly first. Kelly in Colorado. What's up, my man? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
Good evening, Mike. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. How are you? Welcome to the thing.
Yeah. Good show tonight.
Thank you. What do you know about it? Go right ahead.
Well, I'll just give you, everybody's got, kind of like threw in a lot of the information I was going to give out. But you look at the pyramid, right? And then you look at what our history books claim what the history of the planet is, right? So I look at, right, so the time frames from where, if we're talking evolution, right, from caveman and all the way up to what we have human species now, the time frame doesn't even add up to where, it seemed like there was a golden age that just plopped down here somewhere on the earth, right? Everything just showed up. You got the sacred geometry, you have all these megalithic buildings, like the pyramids everywhere else. There's pyramids all over this planet, every country, everywhere. Right? You have these megaliths, and they didn't. That's the thing. These ancients didn't even build small things. They're enormous, and they're made out of stone to last. Throughout lifetimes. Many lifetimes throughout on this planet. So you look at it and it's like the old golden age of what, mathematics and everything else. I mean, not only through Egypt, but Sumerian, like Matt was talking about, right? Those stories there. But even then, you got clay tablets that show, like, I mean, they're mathematical skills. They have clay tablets that show that, have equal of pi, this the mathematics for pi on a clay tablet. They also have, like, what's his name, the theorem, the Greek philosopher, Pythagoras theorem, right? But they have Pythagoras theorem that was thousands of years before even Pythagoras was even born, in clay tablets, right? They have also with, like, math, spice, star maps and stuff, on these clay tablets. And this is, mind you, thousands and thousands of years ago, right? And then we get into the Egyptian. That's where, the stories go with Zechariah Stinson, is that they're like, even you don't even have to do that. You can go even like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And Thoth in the books, Thoth was the builder of the pyramids. That's what he came when he left Atlantis, when Atlantis fell into the ocean. So who knows, you got all kinds of theories back there about, like, there was war going on. But then you have, proof of some of that stuff. But with these pyramids, what they're finding too is, like, there's different sizes, like the whole mathematics. I put it in there in Discord for ancient. It's from, what's it called, Ancient Origins, right? They got all the mathematical things on equations on that. But they got the size, like they're saying. Someone was talking earlier, even the tilt of the Earth, right? The diameter of the size of the Earth, right? It's kind of like the shell of it, like an onion, even like it counts the atmosphere, the distance of that. There's also the distance between the Earth and the Moon. And then if you put the Moon and the Earth on top of it, like, set the Moon on top of the Earth like two balls, right? They even got the same equation for that. I mean, all the way down to the nearest, like, we're talking decimal point. I mean, the measurements were like 777.7, 666.6, right? And then you have the slopes were 51 degrees and 51 by 51, right? And those slopes all coordinate with different things. And now we're finding, before, like, some of those mathematics probably got to be redone because, they were thinking that it was 4-sided, but they're actually it's 8-sided. Not only that one, but the small one. I have pictures of that on Discord as well, of the aerial view of even the small one, the between 3. The small one is actually also 6-sided. Or not 8-sided. No, 8-sided, right? Instead of 4. But I mean, you look at this, and it's, who made these things? That's why the whole ancient astronaut theory comes in, and that's why, I mean, you look at that stuff. How would they know any of that stuff? But that's what I'm talking about. Like, the Sumerians already had all that mathematical genius, is what it was, before even, like, they did, like I was saying, time frame through. They were supposed to be coming out of caves and stuff, knuckle draggers, and next, we're building, pyramids like this around the world. It's just ridiculous to think. I'm serious. It's like ridiculous to think that, the humans just jump like that. There's got to be something that came from somewhere, and that's where the stories come in. And it's not only theirs, and around the world. But I was listening to Billy Carson, and he's explaining some of this stuff, right? Oh, this is going to be a quote from him. He was talking about how the Nile at one time used to run. They know that the Nile used to run right next to the next to the pyramids. And then when you take magnetic crystal granite, which is like the base of the pyramids, right, and you use running water underneath it, you create a psychostatic electricity, right? But then you take the granite that's that type of granite, right? It pulls that ions up through the pyramids, sends them into the Grand Gallery, and now in the Grand Gallery they have these slots. He's got talks because he always does trips to there. He's got where you can take trips down in Egypt and stuff. He does some awesome tours and stuff. But anyway, he says these slots down inside there where he believes that there's these resonating rods, which something that that amps up or steps up the electricity that goes up into the king's chamber. Now, in the King's Chamber, they have that box. Everybody knows they used to try to say it was a sarcophagus, but it isn't. But what's interesting he's saying is that the dimension of that box is the exact same dimensions as the Ark of the Covenant. And when they did measurements back then, it was in cubits. So, and he thinks now, like if you look at that box in the corner of it, right, looks like a chunk of it, the pop off the granite. Now, if you go inside that King's Chamber, he says if you look across and look in the room, you can see where that chunk that flew off and hit the wall. That's an indentation or chunk out of the wall when that piece flew off. So he thinks it's kind of like a capacitor, right, which gives us a boost, to the and sends electricity up to the apex of the pyramid. And at the top of the pyramid, you have the gold capstone, right? And that capstone, it sends out an ambient wireless electricity. And then you have it passes it on to what they call these jet pillars, right? All these obelisks too. The obelisks are also magnetic crystal granite, and they capture that ambient wireless electricity, and then it passes on to what they call those jet pillars. I also put that in Discord too. All that what I'm talking about. But those jet pillars, and they're shown in like hieroglyphs where people are like holding them up, or even like they said that he shows to where it looks like they have electricity plugged into these jet pillars, kind of like that Dendura light bulb, where they shows the light bulb. And he also shows where they have electroplating devices that are connected to those jet pillars, right? And there's also other theories, though, like those shafts on there. They're pointed towards the North Star and Orion. Now, also you can say that it's lined up with the Orion Belt. Same with Teotihuacan, and then also with the ones I think in Asia, right? The temples over there. And I mean, that's not. I mean, come on, coincidence of that is just ridiculous, right? Do you look at that and if all these ancient, and if you take Teotihuacan, the base of Teotihuacan is actually the same, pyramid called the Pyramid of the Sun, and it's the exact same as the Great Pyramid of Giza, the exact same base. Same size. Now, if you take half of the pyramid, which is the size of the Pyramid of the Sun, is exactly half of what the Great Pyramid in Egypt is. Now, those shafts I was talking about, those shafts are actually pointed into different star systems, and what they think it's a communicating device. Because if you're sending out frequency like that, just kind of like what we're doing now, using telephones, you got this line of electricity, or this thing's coming down to the phone, which you can talk, send pictures to, is the exact same type of device, but sending that type of information out through those ports into these. So it's like a simultaneous, you can do like simultaneous communications with these star systems that are out there. Now, let's see here. You also that not only that, you find interesting thing like Matt posted too is, like Teotihuacan, it almost looks like a computer chip, a computer device, right? And you also have weird stuff too. Like it's not only it's another place in Egypt. It's called Karnak stones, the standing stones of Karnak, France. That's where these things are at. I posted that in Discord too. But it's like these lines of these standing stones, right? And they're like just lines of it, and they're huge. It's just it's a long pattern. But it's interesting to look at that. People have been down in there too. There's a lot of geomagnetic electricity that's running through there between all those stones. You could takes like the compass and flips it all around. It's pretty crazy to understand. There's all these megalithic things are all connected on a pattern on the earth, right? There almost looks like a big computer system. Like the earth, they're using the earth itself, which is true. It's kind of like what Tesla did. That's where he got all his information, was from the Great Pyramid, where he built his Tesla Tower here in Colorado, right, where it was underneath an aquifer. It's doing the exact same thing. But this wireless communication, that's what I'm saying. If we went through with Tesla, we wouldn't even be using all these wires, all this electricity that we think that we need, that we don't even, it's ridiculous. We got a sun that's out there. I don't know why we're not using that, more. But what I'm saying is there's wireless. Tesla had this, thing where he's saying all you needed was a, kind of like a modem at your house, where it would connect, the wireless power to your home. We don't even need all these power lines, all that stuff that, it looks gross to me, like looking at power lines like that. It's just, it's an eyesore looking at all that stuff everywhere. We're now we're having to use, producing coal, producing, wind, and all this other stuff. But we don't even need that. If we went with Tesla, it would have been a whole different story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wonder. Like I said, I mentioned this when Theo was on. I wonder if AI is going to be able to sort of sniff this stuff out, that free energy, that sort of the Tesla was supposedly onto, and the rest of this, because it is an emergent technology, and it is something that can kind of pull out sort of extrapolation from what we do know and kind of assume the next step as it gains computation power. So I wonder if it's going to be like, oh, by the way, here's what Tesla had proposed, and it will work theoretically, and here's like the formula. You know what I mean? This type of stuff. I wonder if this is coming. It kind of feels like we're sort of living in that space where this may be the next step of that post-scarcity society that has always been talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and also, like, just with those constructions and all that stuff, right? So, I mean, you look at some of, like, the way the ancients knew what they were even doing. Because, like, a lot of even the material that some of the stuff that they were using, like quartz crystal that's inside that granite, right? That's used in quartz is also used for electrical stuff, right? And over in Teotihuacan, some of the building material that they're using in that was a lot of mica, right? There's a lot of mica here in Colorado too. But yeah, if you look at some of the building tech, I mean, it doesn't look all like with the big heavy blocks, but everything they were made out of it was like, there's mica in it. Right? That's also used with electrical components as well. But I also posted on Discord too, like even these ancient like churches where they look like, all these ancient structures, right, were all built, were there before even anybody, people moved in, just like even the ancients talk about, like when they went and found like all these different people around the world, they asked them, or how'd you build this? And they used to tell them, we didn't build it. This was already here, right? Now, if that's the case, then everywhere we go, even like in, Kemet, which we call Egypt, right? And like even with the Greeks, I don't think they build any of that stuff either. You know what I mean? They give them praise to it, but I don't see it. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff, you can't even, and they're megalithic blocks as well. You know what I'm saying? And the type of technology, the type of stuff that they're doing, the marble working and all that stuff like that, I know some of that stuff you can, but like the tools, again, you got to look at. But like the type of stuff too, everything looks like, they're trying to use it like some of the flooring, like for example, they look like computer boards, right? They also even have like there's some ancient stuff too, like over in India, where like they have off the Shiva Linga into the water. It looks the same like the round swirls, all these designs on these ancient walls. It's like they're talking about electricity. They may not even know what they were talking about, but they've seen it. You know what I mean? It's like they know what it was. That's why they drew it. Now, that's the other case to me. Where like the reason why I say that is because if you even like look at a lot of these old buildings, even here in the States, they always tell you that they're founded in like 18 or 17 something, because if it was built, they would say it was built, like on these stones that's found in foundation stones on the side. They'll tell you, and they say it's founded. There's a difference between founded and built. Like they just moved in, just like everything else, like all the ancients did. They found these things and they use them, and then they, turn them into like religious place because these gods left, these people with technology left. That's why, for me, I look at that as like, man, there's hidden stuff throughout the world where, they're trying to give us clues, and that's why I like the show, because there's all kinds of stuff like that. I did some shows that I was doing before. I used to call it the Always Question, right? And that was like some of the similarities that we're doing around the world, like different things, and that was one of them too. Was like all these electrical patterns and different things that look like, resistors and or capacitors and stuff like that, like those jet pillars I was talking about in Egypt. These things are like they were using wireless. That's why it's weird too. Like you look into all those underground things, Or, you know, if you're talking about like people were talking Discord, they're talking about underground chambers and stuff like that. These things run for miles underneath. And we're talking like a mile, 2 miles underneath. Like, you know, there was, you know, if you go back with Zachariah extensions, you know, and, or like, let's say go with Emerald Talk. He talks about his spacecraft is underneath the Sphinx, right? It's underneath the bright paw. And what's interesting is after they doing all this new technology, do LAR, you know, they can do underground detection. There's something about 2 miles underneath that right paw, a big object. They don't know what it is. That's what they claim anyway. But like, there's even staircases like go down in the middle of the desert. Just go, you know, they find that these stairs that just go down into the middle of this. I don't know what it looks like. It kind of looks like I don't know, like what they would do down there. It's just weird. It's just like a 4 walls, right? And then it's just some round thing like a pit or something down there. But yeah, man, like, and then you have those, you know, what they claim that they put bulls in, you know, those big sarcophagi that they put down there. And all this granite, mind you, was like hundreds of miles away where they were, you know, somehow they brought that stuff here. You know, levitation, I'd say. Something, because you're not dragging boats or trying to, like, the silliness is they saying they poured water in front of the sand and drug it that way because the water made the sand harder. And I mean, but the years they're trying to say that these things are built, it just don't add up. You're like putting, you know, if it's the years that they claim, you're like putting these stones in place every like 21 seconds. It's just impossible.
Yeah, I'm here. I've seen that. So I was pulling a couple articles up I want to show you about and tell you guys about if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I saw a thing too where they were talking about cutting those stones with copper, and they disproved themselves because they were you know grinding the stone with copper, and they were getting like a few millimeters per hour or something. And so basically if they were cutting them at that slow rate, they'd still be building the pyramids today. so it was one of those theories that kind of came and went and was like, okay, maybe that's not it. A couple things real quick, just in case you guys hadn't seen this. This is recent news. So first and foremost, this is from May 16th. Egypt's pyramids may have been built on a long lost branch of the Nile River, as they're describing. We've all heard this, the pontoons and the big stones and the rest of this stuff, that from the quarry up to the thing. Okay, so that's one of them, but of course dozens of Egypt's most famous pyramids, blah, blah, blah. But there's debate among Egyptologists, as you would expect. The other thing that happened recently in this past week, also the 15th, Wednesday, May 15th, Antiquities Council refutes rumors massive structure discovered near Khufu Pyramid, meaning that a massive structure underground. So they're saying that there's this incredible cavity or whatever underneath, a big hole. And they don't know what it is yet. And so some people are saying yes, that, you know, ground penetrating radar and the rest of the stuff is like, that's a big ass hole. And whatever's going, see what I did there? That is a big hole, big asshole. Geez. But that's a big hole. And what the hell could be down there? But so now we're getting, the Antiquities Council refutes the rumors of this. So which is it? And what are they? I don't know. I think in when these types of things happen scientifically, let's say that, people, the egos get involved, right? Like certain people want to be the ones to discover these things. And so, you know, we find ourselves, okay, well, so is it or isn't it? Well, okay, one way to find out is to look at the science and, you know, how did they find it and who found it and this type of thing. And you can replicate that. But if they don't want to replicate it and they just want to sort of just refute it and be like, no, there's nothing here. Seems to me like it's a power play. It's the ego speaking of, Zahi Hawass, which we've seen him get into arguments with Graham Hancock. If you guys have seen that video, that's funny. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. But I mean, this is the type of stuff where you're like, okay, so what is real and what is ego and what is people just kind of power playing to sort of cement their own legacy by wanting to be the one to discover these sorts of things. But hey, if it's even remotely close to true, some of this new stuff that's coming out, then we're in a new era, a new space, and this is good stuff. So those are the two things I heard recently. I want to just point that out to not just Kelly but everybody else here. Go ahead, sir. What you got?
Yeah, that's very interesting too, because like but this is the thing, like, you know, some of the stuff you don't even need to go on ground anymore. You know what I mean? To find all this stuff, they have LiDAR now. Satellites with LiDAR. I mean, that's how they're finding all these ancient cities still like in the Peruvian jungles, or over in like Central America, right? There's like cities of still Mayan cities. I mean, underground. I mean, they could see it now because they're using lidar, but it's still under jungle. I mean, it's not underground, but it's under jungle. But you can still like see stuff that's underground, and they're saying there's even more pyramids that are still buried underneath that. And so you don't even need the ground level to even do something. Yes, it'd be better work. You know what I mean? You could get different stuff. Probably clearer pictures. But at the same time, you don't even need it, man. They could just that's how they found like even the one that the other chamber that's like I seen this other video. Okay, this guy he talks about the picture of the man, where he's spread it's in a circle. He's in a circle. I think it was Leonardo da Vinci. He created it's the man. He's got his arms spread open, right, and he's in a circle and the measurements and stuff like that. But like he was talking about the throat chakras, all the chakras, and 7 chakras through the body. And he said he went to the ancient, he was looking at that and comparing it to, you lay it against the picture of the Great Pyramid. And he says that, the only thing that was missing on the chakra, from the pyramid was the throat chakra. And that's where he said he went to the Egyptologist and he was telling them, hey, you're going to probably find there might be another chamber. He even claimed this before they even found the chamber. The one they can't even, they know it's there because there's a void there. But he doesn't, they haven't opened it up or, attempted to yet. I don't know, they know it's there, but I don't know what, like I said, I've never been to Egypt to even find out, what their plans are. But he claims that that's where, he's saying, you might find another shaft there. And they found that void there where it's kind of like lining up for the throat chakra. It's a pretty interesting video, but I mean, yeah, again, you're looking at all this type of stuff. I mean, come on, this is like golden age knowledge. You know what I mean? We're talking like if all this, like, we're saying these stories are true. Like even with Toth, he's like, this isn't for the guys on Discord, right? When he's saying that he had some chambers that are, and they found these chambers underneath the pyramids, the Great Pyramid, where inside those chambers, he was creating avatar bodies where he could change his consciousness into every 100 years into other bodies and be like walk along men, but not like a man. He was saying, it's interesting when I hear that too, because if that's the case where he could do that, he said then, and that's what's weird that they find miles of these chambers down there yet, and they have yet to, it's miles underneath. What are these? What are we actually? And you'll find underneath even the pyramids in China, the pyramids in Mexico. All of them's got these underground aquifers. All of them got these weird chambers and stuff all up underneath it. These I don't know what they got. You know what I mean? It's weird. Some of them in like Mexico though, they were like that's when they found I believe Patal the Great, Pakal. Right? He actually had a elongated head too. That was another interesting thing too. That's what we talked about in another show. But yeah, man, these things are very intriguing to understand, like some of what's going on. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that's hidden. And it's great to watch a lot of these videos where these guys are coming up with their own theories. And sometimes, man, they make pretty good sense. Some of the stuff and they're using, information from science come up with some of this stuff, man. It's out there, but it's great to listen to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to be able to speculate a little bit to kind of press the theory craft on this stuff. I mean, obviously, you can't just sit around for 1,000 years and wait to find like the perfect rock in the desert to like advance science. Like that doesn't make any sense, right? One, it's boring. I get it. Like we kind of have to go at the pace of discovery, but also from now till then, with the data points we have, there's a ton of extrapolation that can be made. And look, and if you think it's ridiculous, that's cool. But even if you're an anthropologist or archaeologist, listen to the stuff with an open mind and be like, okay, maybe, and then kind of tuck it in your back pocket and go back to work. You don't have to turn into an ancient astronaut theorist, say yes. You don't have to become that, but just, don't, everything doesn't have to be a damn fight. Like, I get it. You spend a bunch of your life and a bunch of your money learning and studying this stuff, and you don't want to defer to some knucklehead on YouTube, okay? Which would be me. But I'm not trying to defer to anybody or even make anybody defer to me. I'm just saying, like, it's an idea. And if you like the idea, cool. If you don't, you don't. And that's fine. That's just the way it goes. But maybe these ideas that we're talking about inspire whatever comes next. And that's exactly the point. Amazing stuff as always, Kelly. What else you got?
That's about it, man. That's all I got tonight. But yeah, man, this is like I said, Egypt is very interesting to me. I'm actually got something going on, so I might even hook up with Billy Carson. I don't know about this year, maybe next year. We're trying to plan to take a trip down to Egypt. I gotta see that place, man.
That'd be
I've
sweet.
been around the world, but I had never been to like Egypt like that, or that's something I'd like to see. I have to see that. I mean, that'd be. I mean, look at the ancient tech. I mean, it's like I said. It's like when I look at it. I mean, that's the golden age. You're looking at that, and I mean, it might be old, but that was the old golden age at one time. Everybody went to Egypt, even to learn. All the Greeks, all the Romans, everybody from around the world went there. And all that knowledge was passed down from Mesopotamia. And man, it's just incredible to even consider some of the stuff that they find. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. But now we think we're more technology advanced now with like computer systems and stuff, but who's not saying that they didn't have something like that anyway? They had capacitors, like I said. Like, I mean, they're using this whole planet as the whole all natural electricity from the ether. You know what I mean? That's like what Tesla was doing. But yeah, man, good show tonight.
You're the best.
And, yeah, I just wanted you guys to have a good one, man.
Appreciate you very much. Tell Michelle we said hi. Always a pleasure. You have a great night. Thanks for the call. Yeah, you're amazing. That's Kelly in Colorado.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot. You too. Me loving. But again, if we ever had a first consistent caller, it was Kelly. I don't think it was our first actual caller, but he was certainly the guy that kept calling back. And years later, he's a good friend with all kinds of wild ideas and into all this trouble mind stuff we always talk about. And look, not only that, like he's digging into this stuff, and the thing I admire most about Kelly is he's like, yeah, like there's a lot here, and do I really know? No, but here's what I've been told, and here's what I've kind of seen and with my own eyes, and we're trying to build reality together in that sense and see what's up. And he's willing to defer in some cases. He's willing to press if he's seen some things. And I mean, look, this is what being human is about. And Kelly has been such an amazing part of the show. Like I said, if it wasn't for Kelly, I'm not sure Troubled Minds would exist today, to be honest, because he was calling a long time ago, and he called back and he'd call back and he'd call back, and we were like, okay, all right, we got something here. Frank and I back in the old days, right? And then we just got more callers and more callers and more callers and more people listening. And like I said, you kind of need an instigator, and Kelly was that instigator, the instigator of my heart. You're the best, Kelly. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for calling. Thanks for having an open mind about all the things, and thanks for considering wild ideas that many people would not. I appreciate you. We're talking the Pyramid Code tonight, a massive cosmic coincidence, and then how that spins into this temporal beacons where treasure maps meet the stars. Such a poetic title there. I love the treasure maps meeting the stars. What do you know about it? And of course, we got one more call. We'll take that and we'll get the hell out of here. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. Let's go to James in Michigan. It's Salcedo Paranormal. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight? Thanks for helping me test. Otherwise, this is a no-go tonight. So +1 for James tonight again and again and again. Welcome to the joint, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, no, thank you for having me as always. And yeah, happy to help. I mean, that's such an easy thing to do. Just get on and say if I can hear you or not hear you, or it's no problem. Yeah, and I'm glad that I Kelly was able to go before me because I had a question and he kind of covered it. But I'm just wondering too, with all these things, all these places underground. I was saying in the chat how to me, I mean, the pyramids and all these structures that go up into the air, into the sky, they're amazing. But just as amazing to me are all the tunnels and passageways that are said to be beneath a lot of these buildings, these structures, and how far down they go, because you're digging out and then shaping the space beneath the ground. And you have to make sure that's not going to fall on you and crush you. as you're doing it and when you're done with that. And I'm just wondering how many of these, how many more of these numbers that, or these, I don't know if you want to call it like a number of synchronicity or a number, I don't know, like you said, like a beacon. I'm just wondering how many more there are, not only in other places around the world, but like within these structures, the further down you go, especially if in cases like in Egypt, and I imagine other places it's probably the same way. I think I've heard that like in China, some of those places are off limits as far as ancient structures.
Yeah.
What is there that is known, but only by very few people in those places because of narratives?
Yeah, and well, hiding information and all the rest of the stuff. I mean, what is that? The first emperor of China's tomb, right? Like, there's a ton of stuff that's come out of there, but there's a ton of stuff that remains hidden. It is protected as much as one of their military bases. So you're spot on with that. It's a creepy thing to consider that there are secrets, ancient secrets that may be known and discovered, and even reintegrated into modern life that we know nothing about yet. And that's a wild thing to really wrap your mind around, because what does it mean? I don't know. And there's Mercury in Teotihuacan, supposedly Mercury rivers in the Chinese emperor's a tomb. As far as we're told, I don't know. A lot of wild stuff. I'm not suggesting you should get anywhere near Mercury. We know it's poisonous as hell, mad as the Hatter and all that. But don't do it. Don't do it. But I think you're onto something. Definitely onto something, James, that these people, meaning the elites of the world, certainly know some things we don't. Case in point, what do they know about the Vatican and the Vatican basements and all that? It's just it's kind of a creepy thought back to the ancient knowledge that really never gets out, that might be beneficial to all of humanity. And they've done this, by the way, curated and kept it from us forever, because knowledge is power, and they know that better than anybody else. And so they kind of keep it from the plebs. And welcome, James. We're the plebs. Welcome to the joint.
Yeah. The other thing about these structures is, I don't know if anyone has heard this, but at least with I did a show, and I can't remember how this came up a while ago, but I did a show on some different haunted places around the world. And if you look around hard enough online, you can find accounts of people having paranormal experiences in and around these pyramids. And so I'm just wondering, as we always have talked about before, you hear about that all the time with modern structures, the limestone and all that, different minerals, different like running water, like near or under a site, which I've heard that some of the tunnels beneath the that those different parts of Egypt where the pyramids are at, some of those are flooded. So I'm just wondering how much of that, you hear so much about that in like newer buildings, or and even just relatively newer, talking going back to like the UK from even just 500, 1,000 years ago. How much energy have those pyramids and other similar structures taken in, and what kind of residual energies and or entities are in those places that people hardly ever see unless they're there a lot. And who's going to be there a lot except maybe the people that are in charge of everything? And so I wonder if that's a aspect of part of why they sort of keep things secret.
Yeah, think of the toil, just human energy, the human energy used to build these spaces, and we talk about, a human resonance in some haunted spaces or battlefields or ley lines, things like this. But I do wonder, I mean, how many people you think died building the pyramid? I mean, they used slaves. They probably beat the hell out of them. They probably beat them to the point of death and killed them, and then buried them where they stood, type of stuff, or dragged them out just past to the cavity that's out there now, and this massive thing they just found. I mean, who knows? Like, there's some really horrific stuff historically, if you go all the way back, that maybe there's these hauntings for a reason. It's just sort of this psychic scar, as we've talked about, in a massive sense, that really creates sort of a haunting aspect around the pyramids. And anything else that's been, used a ton of human blood, sweat, and tears literally to create. A funny thing regarding what you just said there, and as I tacked on, because I'm a rambler, Rambleosaurus Rex, is there's a radio host here in Vegas, and he's a piece of trash. He's a whatever. If you're listening, dude, fuck you, you dirty piece of sorry, I'm just like he's just
Calm down, Mike.
he's
Calm
that
down.
like he's just that angry. He's that angry that he brings out the anger in me. He like hangs up on people. He mutes them. He like berates them, screams at him, and then and then he's like, oh, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. Like, oh, you're so smart hiding behind like, home field advantage. You're so smart. It just drives me nuts. But he had this guy on his show, this super rich dude, the son of a super rich dude. And they apparently his father, so it's some massive donor for a political party. I don't even know which. But the son of this super rich dude was describing how they bribed the Egyptian government to allow them to stay in the Great Pyramid overnight. They literally just paid the Egyptian government, hey, what's up? We're going to do it. And they did, right? And they literally took a group of them. And so he was describing to this radio host here in Vegas that he's like, oh yeah. And the radio host goes, wow, how did you do that? He's like, oh, we just paid the Egyptian government and they let us do it. Right. And they're like, wow, okay. And then the knucklehead radio host, so the guy starts to say, we found God that night. We were creating a resonance within the pyramid and the entire walls were shaking. And the radio host interrupts his ass and goes, all right, let's talk about Donald Trump, right? Like, I'm not even shitting
wonderful.
you. Yeah. Like, of all the most amazing things you would want to hear, the guy's like describing, we talked to God that night. We had the actual entire pyramid vibrating and we stayed the night inside of it. Okay. And he's telling the story and this idiot interrupts him and says, let's talk about Donald Trump. I'm just like, boy, I tell you what, there's few people in this world that I just despise, and this SOB is one of them. If you're out there listening, bro, I reiterate, fuck you. Anyway, sorry, James. Look, ignorance triggers me to an unbelievable degree. Closed-mindedness and dogma triggers me, and this guy's such a political dogma idiot that it just, anyway. So, but you see what I mean? So I was like, dude, talk about meeting God and the pyramid shaking. Let's talk about Donald Trump. This is the discourse of today, James. But isn't that a wild story? Don't you want to hear the rest of that story? Look, I'm going to go back and find that and reach out to that dude because I want to hear that story. I'll see if we get him on this show and not talk about Donald Trump. I want to know what happened in that damn pyramid. That's absolutely wild.
Yeah, it is. And going back to what you were talking about with the people that passed in making these buildings and these structures. I mean, even just think of mining materials for these structures. I was talking, I've done a lot of shows over the years on mines and sort of hauntings surrounding mines because even without anyone being cruel, even though you could argue that putting people in the mines to begin with in a way is kind of cruel because of how hazardous they can be. So many of these mines, they're said to be haunted because of accidents or deaths that lead to deaths that happen in these sites. Now think of that like even like a small scale mine, and ramp it up to you're building a pyramid. I mean, I think you're right. That would just take so much material that would have to be mined out by so many people over so long, and then putting it in place. And I mean, unless there really was some kind of technology where everything was fit into place really easily without people getting too close to any of the blocks, I would imagine there would be, unfortunately, accidents. So, yeah, that was basically all I had regarding all that for tonight.
Right on. You're the best. As always, thanks for deferring as always. Thanks for jumping back out, popping back in, helping test all the things. Just thanks for being you, James. You're a peach. I love you very much, and thanks for being part of this, and thanks for being my friend. Always a pleasure.
Always glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. You're the best. That's James Salcedo. You know him, you love him. Salcedo Paranormal is the name of the show. He is not just a dear friend, but also the paranormal expert of Troubled Minds. And check out his show. It is called Salcedo Paranormal. You can search it yourself, SALSIDO space paranormal. Or, of course, just go to troubledminds.org/friends. It says follow James here. Please do that. Give James a ton of love. He's again, got a big heart and a big mind and all the rest of the stuff. And he's, again, always willing to help or defer as necessary. And as I always say, and it's the truth, he's the glue of this show. So thank you to James. Let's give him some love. But go buy some of his books. He's got some books down there for sale. And maybe another book coming soon. I can't really say anything about that, but you can speculate as you want. And so the deal is, let's help our friend. James is a good friend, and he's been a good friend for a long time, and let's help him as much as possible. Links are in the description, troubledminds.org/friends. Go buy a book from James tonight, and you could spend your money in so many different ways, but a couple cups of coffee or whatever will help our friend, and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to him, and you will enjoy his writing as well. Thank you, James. You're the best. Look, the pyramid code, I don't know. Funny enough, I'm going to show you my background here, my Windows background. I had an update that it messed up my background, so I didn't have anyway, it's funny enough. But as far as this stuff goes, like the pyramid stuff, it is, we've done, many shows on the past on the Giza Plateau, the pyramids, all the rest of these things, and how this turns into the larger aspect of what it means to be human in the ancient and the modern sense. There's a lot here. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to consider, and that's why we do this together, because there's going to be things I don't think of. There's going to be things you don't think of. There's going to be greater than the sum of its parts, as I always say. And thank you guys for that. What's up? Yes, book coming hopefully soon, and also an active Patreon page now. There you go. Go help James out. Go sign up to his Patreon, and a new book hopefully coming soon. Cross your fingers. Send out the good juju for our friend James. And another announcement as well. What's up? Spoiler alerts. Mike is being awesome and coming on my show next Saturday. What's up, the real Jason Barker? I see you, buddy, over there on Rumble. Yep, I will be on Jason Barker's show on next Saturday. It's going to be June 1st, so we'll give you the time on that. And going to be talking about wild stuff. Yeah, that's what we do, right? That's what we do. Jason's a smart guy, and it's mostly a political show, but let's see how non-political we can. Let's grab political by the horns and twist it upside down and see what happens when Michael Strange meets Jason Barker. Amazing stuff. So thank you for the invite. Thanks for being cool and chill with the setting it all up and stuff, and being patient, because I'm really hard to work with. I'm notoriously hard to work with. James can attest to that. And there you go. So what's up? I see you guys in the chat. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Let's get the hell out of here. I don't really know the answers, but I do know the questions, at least a lot of the questions, not all the questions, but a lot of the questions. That's why we do this together. And yep. There you go. Let's smash this button and let's get the hell out of here. And that's that. There, see, James, it's so hard to work with. No, you're right. You're right, though. I really am kind of a pain in the ass. That's a fact. Okay, so as we end, as this finishes, just keep punching. And again, contemplative Memorial Day tomorrow. Again, remember the heroes that came before us, because, look, without them, we're nothing. As I always say, standing on the shoulders of giants is leaves me cold. Okay, as part of it, we can only do. We're here because of the heroes that came before us, and it's our duty. And look, this is why I'm here every night, talking about things, pressing ideas outward, because it feels to me like the ideas are being encapsulated and being restrained and restricted, and everybody can be a hero in their own sense, in their own mind, in their own way. And this is why a group of people, what is it? What did Margaret Mead say? Never forget that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Shout out to Daryl for that one, Daryl in New York. And whatever. Like, just find what you love and do a little bit of good in the world, and I promise you, well, at least a little bit of more good will be done in the world. I can't promise you anything beyond that, but other than the butterfly effect and this type of stuff. And by the way, I think Tupac said this as well, that, and I said this from the very beginning of Troubled Minds. Look, I may not be able to change the world personally. You may not either personally. But together, these conversations might inspire the person that will change the world. So it's important to kind of keep the ideas flowing in just the space of, positivity in a tumultuous world. That's probably a good way to put it. Not the best way to put it, but a good way to put it. If you want to help Troubled Minds, help our friends, troubledminds.org/friends. You can find not all the amazing people. Still waiting for the YY Linktree. Can Linktree me? I'm off tomorrow. I'll put up 2 links. I'll just put up 2 links. Find so many amazing people that have made this show go since we started. If you belong on that list, look, it doesn't take a lot. You just have to help. Just spread the word. Let people know something's happening here. A conversation is going on, and we'll put you on the list. It's a Big Tent conspiracy. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome to call. I appreciate all the thoughtful chat. Just to let people know there's a conversation happening where we're not going to tell you who to vote for. At least I'm not. That's the point. That's the whole point of this. Let's talk about other things that are far less important, like shaking the pyramids and meeting God. What in the world? Let's talk about Donald Trump. What a douche. What an unbelievable douchebag. Anyway, so I think I've got that. Anyway, I've got the audio clip. I was so flummoxed. I was like, oh God, something good, and then something not good. If you want to help Troubled Minds directly, got a few bucks to spend. Links from the description down below. You can sub up on Rockfin or tip on Rumble or whatever. Like I said, I don't spend all of my time here trying to extort you for a few bucks. If you got a few bucks and you really appreciate the work I'm doing, the work that happens here, all the amazing conversations, and you want to send it my way, I'd appreciate it very much. As we finish, it goes exactly like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.